All right. Welcome everyone. This is Woodrow. I'm joined by Ty. We're going to commentate some exciting middle school magic. Ty, explain to the audience what middle school magic is.
Well, middle school magic is the best magic format. It is from cards from the years of 1995 through 2003. It's similar to the format you might know as pre-modern, but includes other sets such as portal sets, supplemental sets, and a couple of reprint sets. Um, it's also uses different rules. It has damage on the stack, and the standard wishes are returned to their original functionality.
So most importantly, some of the cards we'll see here, we've got Force of Will is legal in this format. Though I'm not sure if either of these decks are playing Force of Will. Blasphemous as that may be. And Necropotence is legal in this format, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, the middle school difference between middle school and pre-modern. Middle school, you get all the combo cards, unbanned, Force of Will unbanned, and Dark Ritual is banned. We're basically the opposite for pre-modern. On the left, we have Kai, and on the right, we have Chet. We'll go ahead and talk about their decks real quick. So, first on the left, Kai is playing a full English breakfast survival deck.
Okay. So for those that don't know, Survival of the Fittest is this card that lets you go through your library and get creatures, and but to do that you have to discard a creature from your hand. For full English breakfast, it works in such a way that you discard a creature from your hand and you play this Vesuvian Shapeshifter, which becomes the creature you've discarded. And at this point, weird things start happening.
Oh, we're hearing people.
Check your mutes.
Hi, can you hear me this way?
Oh, maybe they need to mute themselves in the Zoom. All right, so our players are getting all the technology working. The pandemic's been going on since 2020. We've had a lot of practice with this, as you can tell. We're just total professionals.
We've had practice. We have not gotten any better. Probably about the same as we are with our middle school decks.
Yep, probably.
Yeah, I'm hearing an echo still, but I don't think that's a big deal.
This one, okay. Yeah, my best guess was that someone still had the Zoom chat open. So Kai was on fully English breakfast, and what is Chet using?
Chet is on a Ball Lightning Blistering Firecat Oath of Druids deck.
Oh my god, this list is straight gas. All right, I'm gonna take 1 second to go get some headphones to help fight this echo. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll go over this deck real quick. This deck is straight fire, in both literally and figuratively. You've got 4 Ball Lightning, 4 Blistering Firecat, and 4 Oath of Druids as the primary plan. Backed up with burn spells, including 4 Kindles and 4 Flame Bursts, since Oath of Druid's going to mill those into the library for extra damage. 4 Lightning Bolts, 2 Fling, 2 Fire Blast. It also has 3 Cabal Therapy, so you can sacrifice your Firecats and Ball Lightnings after they attack. And it's routed out with a couple Animate Deads and Sulfuric Vortex. This is a deck I'm really excited to see in action, to see how easy it is to deal 20 damage with maybe just 3 attacks.
Yeah, I was. I looked at this deck list and I was excited. Everything that's going on here is just crazy. Using Oath of Druids to get Blistering Firecat. Okay, then you'll definitely get to trigger your Oath again.
Yeah.
And I think there's like Animate Dead, so you can Animate Dead. Woof. We're using every piece of the buffalo.
Yes. Well, a couple of things. One thing I wanted to see in this is maybe like an Oath of Ghouls or Blister or Oversold Cemetery is a way that maybe you can rebuy them after they're in your yard. But I think with all the burn, you're just trying to do 20 as fast as possible.
Yeah, I feel like if you have like 4 Blistering Firecats in your graveyard, the game should be over.
Yes.
So I was like, I need to rebuy this Firecat so we can keep beating this corpse.
Yeah, I guess against the creatureless decks, I would think about something like that, a recursive strategy where the Oath of Druids is bad. But
right.
maybe you just this reminds me of an onslaught block deck, onslaught block constructed, where our friend made the finals of a PTQ with a 4 blistering firecat, 4 searing flesh deck. Searing flesh, 7 mana sorcery that does 7 damage.
Oh wow!
And so all he had to do was draw 3 of these 8 cards, and he would win. So he'd play against these mono white decks that had no life gain, and he would just slowly ramp up, and then hit him with the firecat. They'd take it, and then he'd hit him with 2 searing fleshes, and then the game would be over.
What a time to be alive! And you play all these 7 mana sorceries that didn't like time walk and make.
Yeah, think about if you're playing an Astral Slide deck, right? And you have no way to gain life, and your opponent just starts throwing off 7 mana burn spells at your face.
What? I mean, I thought the Astral Slide decks at least had like Exalted Angels.
Sure. You have ways to gain life, but there are ways to kill that.
Yeah.
But that was the strategy. It could not be goblins, and predictably he lost to goblins in the finals. But this deck reminds me a lot of that. I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah, I appreciate what he's bringing to the table. This is pretty exciting stuff. I'll also like to mention that both of these players are playing broken cards. We've got Survival of the Fittest in one hand, and we've got Oath of Druids on the other. And these cards are like banned all the way to vintage. Right. They're just too good.
Yes.
So usually when Survival plays against Oath wins because Oath cheats on mana and Survival doesn't.
Yeah, and there's not really, even though there's not really a good way for the Survival deck to kill the Oath of Druids, a lot of times the Survival deck can just win in one turn because it has the full English breakfast combo of both Akroma into Phage or the Triskelion and Phyrexian Devourer. So maybe the Oath isn't as favored as against like a more value controlling type of survival deck like Elves or Opposition.
Madness or something like that. Yeah. So we have this combo. So if one of these combos happen, we'll be sure and explain it. And in fact, we're not doing anything else, so we'll explain it now.
Well, there's so many sub combos in here. We'll just go with the 2 main ones. The 2 main ones being Phyrexian Devourer and Triskelion with Volrap Shapeshifter. So, so the way that works is with Phyrexian Devourer as the top card of your graveyard with a Phyrexian or the Volrap Shapeshifter in play, you can then exile the top cards of your library to put counters on your Volrap Shapeshifter. And then once you have all of your cards exiled and get the counters, you then discard the Triskelion and then use those counters to ping your opponent to death.
Indeed. So if people start going through this loop and someone just concedes, we'll definitely point that out, that actually this esoteric rules interaction took place such that the other person just like died to Triskelion damage out of nowhere.
The other combo is Phage by itself or with a haste creature. So if you just have Volrap Shapeshifter and attack, and then you discard Phage and it deals damage, you win the game. There's a lot of ways that you can enhance this attack to make sure it gets through. You can use Akroma to give your guy flying and haste. You can use Cephalid Inkshrouder to make it unblockable. There's a couple other tricks with Psychotog to make it a little bit bigger or as an extra discard outlet. There's Unearth to bring stuff back. It all kind of adds up to finding a way to kill them with Phage. All you have to do is hit them once, and because Phage never is entering the battlefield unless you somehow make the mistake of casting the Shapeshifter while Phage is the top card of your graveyard, you're never going to lose the game.
Yeah. It would be pretty unusual for you to lose to Phage's weird alternate rules text.
Yes. So which deck do you think here is favored, Woodrow, between these two? I know you said you think Oath is generally favored against Survival, but with this specific configuration with a lot of burn spells instead of the controlling elements, do you think that changes?
That's tough. I still feel like because the Survival deck has to pay mana for spells and it has to pay mana to like activate Survival, it should be slower than Oath, which is just putting free creatures into play and throwing burn at his face.
Yeah, I think I agree that the Oath deck is probably still favored. It can use the removal spell. It can use the burn as removal spells just on Shapeshifter. It doesn't have to like attack the birds because it kind of wants the birds sitting around.
Yeah, to trigger the Oath.
So you can trigger your Oath, deal 6 or 7 at a time while you're using your Lightning Bolts, Flame Bursts, Kindles on Shapeshifter if it's just a 0/1,
He's even got fling. He can fling the ball lightnings and blistering fire cats.
Yeah, and then maybe you get Chris Scroll out. I think if the Oath deck gets the Oath twice, it should be game over.
I don't think there's okay. I mean, maybe the survival deck has some like crazy sideboard cards, which I'm not really seeing.
Yeah, I don't like Duress and Naturalize. I think are reasonable, but
there could be like sideboard cards that just like KO the strategy.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing them here.
Yeah, because even the main deck Withered Wretch, which is normally kind of good against Oath, you can start taking their Guy's Blessing. That's the thing. The Oath deck doesn't play Guy's Blessing. It's just trying to hit.
We're not here for the long game. Yeah. We're for like 2 or 3 attacks.
All right, it looks like they're ready and they're going to draw their first hands here. I don't know.
All right.
Looks like they're doing the die roll. I don't know who's going to win.
Do even or odd, guys. That way we don't do high roll.
They both root 5 because they didn't do even or odd. They have to roll.
Gotta do even or odd. Come on, Ricky missed it. All right.
There's a 4 and a 6, so it looks like
so
Chet's going to play first. I think that's going to be huge for his deck.
That is totally huge. So the other thing that matters is both decks have a signature card, Oath versus Survival. And so maybe they could just like mulligan looking for that card because their decks are so much better when they have this card in their opening hand.
Yeah. I'm not experienced with Flinger's Breakfast enough to know how it mulligans. It's something I'm, the last couple times I've done the cast, I've always covered a full English Breakfast deck. So I'm like, I should probably play this deck at some point. I don't know how willing you are to keep a hand that say like Birds, Shapeshifter, Achroma. Like if you just have a turn 3 Achroma, is that a hand you want to keep, or are we trying to go find something better? There's a lot of decks that would probably lose to that, but maybe it's definitely not going to be this deck that Chet has. And
that's just going to like bolt your like O2 Shapeshifter. That's a little awkward. So for whatever reason, Kai's taking a mulligan here. Also, the mana in his deck is pretty ambitious because we've got like 4 different colors in the. So that's a concern. So actually, if we have a situation where both decks misfire, I feel like the bird deck is better because of its easier mana. Let me double check that.
I think you're right. I think the mana is not great in the burn deck because it's trying to splash 2 colors, but it still has all red sources, and I think you can just get there with traditional burn plan. And you have 4 City of Brass, 4 Gemstone Mine, 4 Kerplusen Forest, and 9 Mountain. That's enough to cast all your burn spells easily. Your Ball Lightning easily. Blistering Firecat, you might even morph it if you need to get some extra damage in. I think the burn deck is going to be a lot better if the survival deck does not draw survival.
Yeah. So anyway, now that we trashed our survival deck and we talked about how it can't win, I'm sure that it's just going to dominate, guys.
All right, we have a turn 1 Cabal Therapy from Chet. So, I don't know what he named, but it probably did not hit the Cabal Therapy or Vorax Shapeshifter in.
I mean, it's got to be survival or like Birds of Paradise. It's like one of those 2 cards.
Well, if he doesn't know what his opponent's on, he's not open decklist at this point. He might name Force of Will or.
Yes. Okay. Important note. This is early in the tournament. Our opponents do not know what they're doing at this point. So these Cabal Therapies are kind of like really shots in the dark.
Here's a Cabal Therapy from Kai on the. Let's see what he's going to name. Gemstone Mine. I have no idea what I would name.
I would probably name like Tinker or something like that.
2 Flame Burst, an Oath of Druids, and another Cabal Therapy.
Yeah. All right. Wild. Okay.
Well, it looks like he did not name Oath of Druids.
No.
Why would you expect an Oath of Druids deck to say Gemstone Mine? So I think Chet's going to get to resolve the Oath, and that's going to put this game in a really slow standstill, I think, for quite a while.
Yeah, and here's like if you're Kai and you see this like this like Flame Burst Oath deck, like what do you even think is being oathed up? You're like, well, what happens if he triggers the Oath? Could be anything.
Yeah, I think I guess you can maybe not cast the Oath here, but
that's craziness. Oh, he's not. Okay,
he's not. He's going to go with a therapy.
So we know this is going to hit.
The first one didn't name Force of Will. Oh, he named the Shapeshifter, but Kai drew the survival.
Ooh, but no creatures. Okay, so this is an important thing to think about. He's therapied and he knows what Kai is doing. Only one deck plays Shapeshifter. So
he knows that he's probably not going to play a creature, knowing that he has the Oath. But he could flashback the therapy on the Oath. That was why I wanted to play it.
If Kai had drawn a creature, he could just flashback and get rid of the Oath.
And, interesting. He's just not going to play the Oath at all.
He's not playing the Oath.
He's passing with the last counter on his Gemstone Mine in case he needs to cast the Flame Burst instead of playing Oath.
I'm gonna say that Chad is breaking our hearts because we wanted to see that Oath in play, even though there's no creatures. Like I guess there's no rush. But
I wonder if he knows this matchup better than we think, because I would think you'd want the Oath in play first and then go from there. But maybe he's worried about losing the mana.
I mean, not only that. I mean, once we trigger the Oath and get Blistering Firecat, we can sack the Firecat to Cabal Therapy. This deck is so great.
Yes.
We just have everything is going on.
So now he's in his tough spot because as soon as Kai draws a creature, he's gonna start going off. So he'll probably go get a Squee here.
Yeah.
And eventually he's gonna set up enough mana in play where he can cast the Shapeshifter,
just like one shot him,
and Chroma Phage in the same turn. So I think I think that needs 5 mana total.
Does he have a disenchant guy? No, he has like Monk Realist, so he can just disenchant the Oath. Actually, so
that's
right
true.
Now
he could go get Squee and then go get the Monk here.
Yeah. So the world is kind of Kai's oyster. He's casting like 3 Demonic Tutors a turn. His City of Brass mana base is working,
but the City of Brass mana base is a liability against the burn deck. So maybe he's probably taken 3 damage so far. Maybe 4 if he taps the city this turn.
That would be more scary if the burn deck had played more lands. But odds are they're just gonna die with those cards in their hand, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the burn deck's also in the awkward situation where you already have 2 Flame Burst and you'd like to draw the other 2, but you might just draw Kindle instead and have to like start over.
Yeah. So, we were talking all this trash about how Kai's deck was totally not favored, but here we are. We have this misfire scenario. We're missing some land drops, and I think Kai's just gonna pull way ahead here. You know, survival being in play with a bunch of mana is really good.
I'm trying to move my mic. This is it's saying there's an echo on my side. This is the problem with using the Ninja instead of something smart. Cancel the echo. I do have headphones somewhere. I will go grab them in a second. Ooh. This is fascinating. He's getting the Peregrine Drake, so he can take the Shapeshifter and untap the lands immediately. He might just win this next turn.
Yeah, we could just the game could be about to end, and we're gonna explain why.
He just needs one more creature in his hand, which the Squeeze should give him unless he forgets the trigger.
Yeah. So during your upkeep, you get to return the Squee. Draw for the turn. Not that we need to. So, all right. There's no surgical extraction in the format, so we can't like get fizzled by some free spell.
Yeah, I guess in theory he still doesn't quite know what's on, but probably not expecting a Force of Will. So.
At this point it doesn't really matter. Like if you've assembled your combo, what are we doing here if we're not going to go for it? All right. So we get to play the Shapeshifter, which is a Drake. So we get to untap all this mana. We have the Squee in our hand.
We have a green floating.
Yeah.
Use the green, discard the Squee.
All right.
Now here's something like a Lava Dart's a card that might be interesting, but
it's not in the graveyard. All right. So we're just going for Phage. So now our Shapeshifter is a copy of a Chroma, which has haste and pro red on the odd chance someone tried to shoot it. So we just get to swing over with our hasty guy. Whoa, what is this?
He's giving it unblockable.
Yeah, just covering all our bases.
It also gives it Shroud. So
really?
He had the Phage in his hand already. So that's what it was.
All right. So the Shapeshifter was a Chroma. It attacked. It was not blocked. Before first strike damage, we discarded Phage.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some headphones to get this.
When Phage deals combat damage to players, that player loses the game, and that's it. Yeah, once you got survival in play, you're dead next turn. Wild. All right. So while we get ready for game 2, we're going to take a look. I'm going to chat a bit about the sideboarding to see if anybody's got any heavy hitters. We looked at Kai's sideboard, and for step 1, Kai probably still doesn't really know what's going on. like he's seen Oath, Cabal Therapy, and some burn spells. So if I'm Kai, Oath is a scary card. Kai does have Naturalize, so I might bring in some Naturalizes, and I might leave it at that. Like I might not do anything else. If I am Chet, who just had this incredibly cool deck that I'm trying to find right now. Nope, that's not it. This one. What does Chet bring to the party? In the sideboard, not a lot. There's not any graveyard hate in Chet's sideboard.
All right, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So yeah, Chet's sideboard.
Yeah, they're not bringing a lot to the table.
I think
Neither
he
of them
can-
are.
I wonder if he would bring in the Queer and Dryad Duress package and take out the Oaths. It seems like Oath isn't quite enough, as that game showed,
Yeah, maybe.
and maybe get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. Queer Dryad is like such a sweet card. But I think you basically bring Queer Dryad if your opponent is on a creatureless deck. Kai's deck has creatures; they should trigger the Oath. Yeah, I think the Queer Dryad only comes in a no creature type of like blue-white standstill type of deck. Something like that, or some combo deck. Otherwise, I think you stick on the Oath package.
Do you think Kai is going to bring in these life gain cards, or do you think he knows enough yet about what's happening? Because he has the one bailout and the 2 spike feeder.
If I were Kai, seeing what I've seen, I would just want to bring in like Naturalize. Like Oath is a scary card, and I saw Cabal Therapy, Oath, and some burn spells.
Mm-hmm.
But the scariest card is by far the Oath. So I'd bring in Naturalize and like nothing else.
But if you knew exactly his list, you wouldn't care about the Oath if you had the life gain, right? You would just be like, oh, I can play creatures instead of these Naturalizes and Duresses and Therapies and just gain life instead of worrying about the Oath.
It's possible.
Maybe that's I guess he doesn't have any creatures that are like have first strike or anything, but the Triskelion can hold off a ball lightning. I don't think you're going to have that in play in time.
All right, I'm checking the chat. It looks like our audio issues are fixed. We really appreciate your patience. I promised that I might even do presentations virtually for a living. So, it's rough. It's rough. I think especially if you're Kai, you should stick with your plan and maybe just bring in Naturalize. And if Chet had Graveyard Hate, that would be really good. Like, because you could fizzle the combo with some Graveyard Hate, but Chet's sideboard doesn't really have any. I would not sideboard out the Oaths. So I would suspect both players to present decks that are very similar to the decks they presented in game one. And we're going to hope that Chet's deck, actually has some lands and fires. And also everybody's Cabal Therapies will be better in game two because we know what we're doing.
The Therapies hitting will make the game go a lot longer.
In the later rounds, everybody knows what everybody's playing, and then cards like Cabal Therapy and Meddling Mage are just a nightmare. They're just so good. but in rounds like the early rounds, you always just name like Force of Will or just it's Force of Will into Prayer or something, or Tinker into Prayer.
Force of Will, Tinker. Well, not you actually name Cabal Therapy. That's always the best. It's Therapy or Therapy. I think it's pretty cool that you can kind of see the other mat, the other on Chet's screen. You can see Kai shuffling, and it's really trippy to see the hands distorted from our strange angle on top of the webcam. Like that there. So I guess Chet's on the play again. I'm interested to see if he kept an Oath of Druids. I would probably take it out after that, but maybe on the play it's too good. It buys you enough time. On the draw, I might consider taking it out because.
But I just don't think that the Quirion Dryads are better. Like, what good is this cool creature that turns into a 5/5 really going to matter? It still wouldn't fix the fundamental
all your
issue.
burn is instant speed, so you can just play the Quirion Dryad and then pass with burn up and burn all of his creatures. Basically, that's when you start actually burning the birds.
Okay.
And try and set up the curse scroll. I don't know if it's the right play. It's something I would try maybe on the draw. On the play, I think you kind of just got to go with Oath and hope it's enough.
Yeah, there's no lava darts. If I had some lava darts, I'd be kind of keen on that plan.
Yeah.
Lava dart really suppresses the little
All right.
dudes.
Looks like Kai is not afraid of Oath of Druids, so he probably boarded in Naturalize, or he has the Monk Realist. So we'll see if he has the turn 2 Oath here.
Okay.
And he does.
All right. So you got oaths. So either we have naturalized or cabal therapy or monk realist, or we just like have decided that oath doesn't matter. Like our opponent played oath last game and we just killed them anyway. Maybe we just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's hoping he had a turn in there where he could go. Oh no, he
Oh,
just has the
okay. No,
realist.
just has it. Just has it. That's a one of.
It's a pretty good keep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good opening
right.
7.
Kai
Oh, but he only
correctly-
has the 2 mana. So
Ooh, we were about to bolt the birds.
so yes, bolting the bird now.
Wow.
Well, it looks like it's a ball lightning though.
Ooh, ball lightning.
Or is it Sulfuric Vortex? That could be that.
What Sulfur Vortex is rough when you have 2 City Brass in play. That is pain.
Is that City of Brass? I thought those were mountains. Oh, those
wait.
are 5th edition City of Brass.
Yeah, he has like 2 City Brass like
Ooh.
Carpathian Forest. Like Sulfur
All
Vortex.
right, so he's
is rough.
passing. So he didn't bolt the bird. I guess he's on the bolt the shapeshifter plan in case there's a land here.
Yeah, I would be
then
bolting that bird.
Maybe at the end of the turn, bolt the bird if there is no land drop.
Yeah, we got to kill the birds. What are we doing here? Okay, duress. See, we wouldn't be getting duress if we'd bolted the birds. Okay, so we have the vortex,
the fire cat,
fire cat.
It looks like a kindle or a flame burst.
I guess I can't make it out. Yeah,
it's a 1 in a red card from Tempest or Odyssey.
I think it's. I think the bottom card is Fling, but I don't know. There's a lot of art for Fling, a lot of different arts. All right, so
it's definitely a Kindle on
next
top,
turn.
though, I think.
Okay, so Kindle. Okay. So if we're chat, we should, assuming these are both burn spells, I think we should point one of the bird at the end of the turn, and then on our main phase, we should Blistering Fire Cat. Oh,
interesting.
Wow.
He's taking the Vortex.
Interesting. I mean, the Vortex, assuming you're about to get punched by the Fire Cat, is gonna.
All right, here's the second Birds of Paradise. So maybe we cast both of the burn spells on the birds. I don't know if that's going to be enough though. If we're taking, taking 4 to do this or 2 to do this, and then the Monk Realist might just do enough damage before we can get back. I don't know. We could cast a morph. Oh, we might see a morph this game, guys.
Morph.
We might see a morph. We might morph blocks all day. Face down creature, let's go.
No. We're on the Blistering Fire Cat game plan. Thank you very much.
Morph is my favorite mechanic of all time. I'm very sad I did not get to see a morph.
I mean, I definitely did like the bluffs with the morphs. Once your opponent knew you had a good morph in your deck, and they started killing all your morphs, and they were just like joke creatures. It was a good time. I'm just going to point out that if we had bolted that bird right away, Kai could not have played 2 spells that turn.
Right.
I feel like
he'd be pretty far behind here. He would just be playing the bird now, or he'd be playing Duress this turn. Couldn't cast whatever 3 mana spell he's about to cast.
So I would have been really high to kill the bird just as soon as my opponent missed that land drop.
So back in 2003, I remember playing some extended tournaments with Red Deck Wins with Blistering Fire Cat, and we had 4 Fire Cats in the main. We also had 4 Nantuko Vigilante in the sideboard. So we had that morph camouflage. You had 1 forest and 4 fetch lands to maybe blow up a chill or something.
Gotcha.
And then I came up with a tech that for more morph camouflage, we should put Zombie Cutthroat in our sideboard, as it's actually pretty solid in the Burn Mirror or the Red Deck Wins Mirror. If they Lava Dart or if they Firebolt your morph, you just pay 5 life and you have a 3/4. You might just win the game with that. Ooh, here's the ball lightning.
Okay, it's happening. 3 attacks. So
we've done 13, and I don't think Kai has taken any damage from that Yavimaya Coast. He just drew it.
No,
so I don't think he's taking any damage from his main. So he's just going to go down to 7 most likely.
So unless Kai's hand has some good cards, I don't think he can kill next turn. Because we haven't played the Shapeshifter.
Right. If we somehow had the Shapeshifter, if we have the Drake in our hand.
Yeah, Kai's hand would need some very specific cards.
So now he's down from 7 down to 4, and we know there's 1 card.
He killed the bird.
Oh, he killed the bird.
Killing the bird is crucial.
Killing
Now
the
I don't
bird is
think Kai
very
has
good.
live outs. Like, because with the bird, if Kai drew land and had the Drake, he could discard the Drake to
Well,
get
he's
shapeshifter.
flowing the
Play shapeshifter.
mana. He has the Drake, so if
Oh,
he draws
yeah,
a
so
blue source
we're
for
live.
the shapeshifter, he's live. Assuming he has another creature.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe he just gets squee here because he's
Hmm,
he's at 7. I think he's fine to. He
wait
could
a
leave back the
turn.
monk realist to block and not die to any one creature. Though he needs
All those
life
guys
to
have
tap
trample. Like the Monk Realist is not really.
he
blocking.
needs life to tap his Yavimaya Coast
Yeah.
eventually. So
All right.
well,
so,
I mean, the 1 damage matters
Mm,
at some
does
point.
yeah, I'm gonna be like, does it though? Like at some point it might, but I don't feel like we're at that point.
Well, I don't think our 1 damage attacking matters. That's for sure.
I agree with that. You're right.
So
The
I
opportunity
think
cost,
blocking might be better.
Yeah,
And it gives you a rebuy on casting Shapeshifter and blowing up another Oath if that somehow
yeah.
came up.
I don't. I think the oath phase of the game has passed. We're on a new phase. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt.
Yeah. He wants to draw a lightning bolt or a fire blast.
Whoa!
I guess we
Well,
don't have.
Kai is getting in. He's not leaving any damage on the table.
He's not afraid.
Yeah, he's just like, whoa, no respect.
Yeah, I wonder if they could play loyal retainers. That's something you can play in your oath decks or your survival decks with the Acroma.
Yeah, so that's another weird thing about this format. You can play these portal cards. Really?
Yeah.
You can. Wow. Okay, so yeah, loyal retainers could be here. So so Wall of Roots blocks better.
It blocks better, but I don't think
I
think I'm surprised he didn't use the mana on his turn there. I guess he's just saving it.
Yeah, I feel like
because you could
does it
survival
have
twice.
No creatures.
He has the Acroma.
The only reason. Oh, so we pitch the Acroma, get the guy. Yeah. I think that we should have done that.
I think maybe he should have got the Squee instead of the Acroma, and then he would have been able to go Wall of Roots, go get Acroma, but he might not have had the Wall of Roots yet. He might have drawn that, but it looks like Chet's flooding out.
We didn't
he only has a 2 damage spell in his hand.
All right, so Kai's getting a reprieve here. Then time to hiya! Just come across the Monk Realist.
And I guess maybe Chet's just low enough in the City of Brass and Karplusan Forest that this damage might actually get there.
I highly doubt it.
But I'm surprised that somehow we did not kill him this turn.
Yeah,
we had survival, and
so we don't have a second blue source. Like we can't do anything. We only have one blue source. So killing the birds. Take note, everybody. Always kill the birds. Noble Hierarch, Deathrite Shaman. Just get him out of here. Just get him out of here. Ragaman, same. Get that guy.
I guess
out
even
of here.
loyal retainers wouldn't do it. He doesn't have white mana, so
yeah.
Kai's stuck on needs some colored mana.
So now, if Kai had sided in like these Ravenous Balos and Spike Feeders, that would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
But Hypnox, okay.
Well, you don't. I'm surprised that Hypnox is still in.
Yeah, Hypnox I think would have been a pretty easy cut for like we got to get this like colored mana online.
Do another bird. Now we can go off. We'll go.
Yeah, now we're threatening. The Drake is hidden, so we actually are kind of lagged.
So, but we can pitch we don't need the Drake anymore because we can pitch the Acroma into turn for the Shapeshifter. But the birds is going to die. So
yeah. All right. Well, I mean, if you're Kai, you're kind of happy about that. I might have waited to my draw step to make that decision. If I were Chet, just to, we don't have the life total information though, so.
Yeah, let's see.
I think that Kai
the monk's tapped at least 4 or 5 times, and he's tapped the City of Brass at least 4 times. So he's probably around 10, and like Kai, I think is at 7.
Yeah. Okay.
So it looks like a 7 on the notepad up there. I can't see what the other one is, but that looks like a 7.
All right.
So it looks like there was nothing good drawn from Chet. Still not trying to go for it. We still don't have the blue mana from Kai. Tormod's Crypt, though. That's actually really funny because you think against an Oath deck that you'd want some type of graveyard hate, maybe. Like I said, it gets the guy's blessings or whatever, but it's not actually particularly good. It does turn off the Flame Burst and Kindles, but that's really it.
It makes them worse. It doesn't turn them off.
Yeah. but Chet's drawing a bunch of nothing, drawing another mountain. But maybe he's
This is
getting close to Fire Blast.
Yeah, the best way to beat Burn, have them flood out. That always works. All right, so I feel like we're getting to the end game with this much mana. There's got to be a way to put it together.
He's probably. I would imagine if he had a Spike Feeder in his deck, he would get it here.
Yeah,
to kind of lock up the game.
Or if not, we get Squee because we've got all this green mana. Then what?
I guess he could also get a Mesmeric. No, I can't cast Mesmeric Fiend. Interesting, he only has 2 Wall of Roots in his deck. Generally, I find that card to be really good with survival.
Yeah,
and I guess instead he's playing the 2 Llanowar elves that are obviously very good, but not as good with Wall.
Yeah, you just have I guess a lot of 2-drops. But yeah, it's like in Modern, like Wall of Roots is like so insane with Chord of Calling. It's kind of the same deal. Like Wall of Roots is so good with Survival of the Fittest.
So he got the Cephalid Inkshrouder. I don't know if he's going to cast it. I don't think that is worth paying a life for.
No, I would not think so either.
So, but at the same time, you kind of need a clock that's better than this Monk Realist.
Monk Realist is not going all the way.
Oh, so I guess they're both in single digits. So it looks like. All right, so here we're gonna see if I can see the life total. It looks like Kai is gonna mark himself down to 6, and it looks like I can almost see what Chet's life is, but it looks like it's down to 8 or 7.
How much power does the Cephalid guy have? Is he at least 2 power?
Ooh, that's a very good question. He Cephalid Inkshrouder is a. Is it a 2/1? God, Google, come on now, show me the full picture. It is a 2/1, so that's probably a 2-turn clock here, I'd imagine. So I think Kai is at 6. That is my math. Because one of the burn plays went to the lightning bolt went to the Birds of Paradise, not Kai's face.
So yeah, I think 6 is also correct.
And Chet, I don't know. I'm guessing it's probably around 9. It's either 9 or 7 or 8. Maybe he's at 6 as well. Maybe it's just 2 attacks.
This is a real nail biter because I'm pretty sure that Chet accidentally flashed one of the cards in his hand, and it is like a burn spell. So
because we saw him play that last Flame Burst here on the Llanowar elves.
All right, yeah, Kai's like sweating. What do you got for us, Chet?
He's tapping a mountain and a Karplusan.
All right, so now we want to crypt in response to make this worse.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna do that.
Yeah,
so it's only gonna be 2 damage.
Okay.
So puts him down to 4. And he only has the 1 mountain in play, so even if he had Fire Blast, he would not be able to cast it.
Okay.
He's tapping the Gemstone. He drew another Flame Burst, so that's 3 damage. That puts him at 1? Or is that maybe he's at dead? It seems like he's acting like that's lethal.
What you got for me?
Oh no, he's going to 1. Okay, he's at 1, and he's conceding. Is he conceding?
Yeah, is this the slowest of rolls? Let me adjust my mana a little bit for my lethal burn spell. No.
I'm assuming that Kai won that game. That's what I interpret. I think that was only that Tormod's Crypt saved the day.
Tormod's Crypt just good enough.
And I guess Chet was probably at 6 there when he cast the Inkshrouder. So that was a good aggressive play by Kai to go get the Inkshrouder, put him on 2-turn clock, knowing that he had the Tormod's Crypt there to save the damage in case he drew exactly 2 more Flame Bursts.
We were like laughing at like the Monk Realist beatdown. We're like, man, that's not a real plan. And then
like there was a turn where I thought it was going to be you have to hold it back to wait in case he drew another Trampler, but he didn't. He didn't hold it back.
All right, so I'm just gonna say that we, as the announcement team, were totally wrong. We thought that Kai was like in a serious deficit, and we had in the first game, Chet's deck kind of misfired on lands, and in the second game, it was pretty close. There was a big sweat, and Kai's deck creeped across the finish line
Yeah.
there.
I wonder if we can get confirmation that game actually went the way we thought it did.
Yeah,
It doesn't look like they're trying to set up the next game. No one's
it doesn't
shuffling
look
really.
that way either. So we're
I think it's safe to assume they're doing a little chat with each other, talking
right.
about the way things went. Yeah. If they were bluffing, they got both of us fooled.
All right, so yes, we're being told that we're going to move to intermission. So Kai did in fact win, is our understanding. So we're gonna this time it'll be silky super smooth as we set up everything for our next round of contestants. So just bear with us for a little bit, and we'll have that going. All right. I think that we're live.
Are we live now? We are live.
Yeah, we're live. We're totally live. All right. We've
Outstanding.
got both the players
They're still
here. They've
working
got
through some
video.
technical settings, but we're going to go ahead and start talking about this matchup that we've got because it's a good one.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a
There's too
lot
much
to say.
tension.
So our two players, we got Casey and we've got Matt. Unlike the first match where we had two newcomers, these are some veterans of the middle school leagues. Casey's played 3 different times before this, and this is Matt's second appearance. Casey is on a Tradewin survival opposition deck. What can you tell me about that deck, Woodrow?
I am pulling it up. So, Casey is on this prison plan. Instead of combo killing your opponent out of nowhere, he's gonna lock them out of resources. He's got Winter Orb. He's got Opposition, and he's got Deranged Hermit. For the final finishing blow, we've got Tradewind Rider, which lets you bounce a bunch of permanents. So his game plan is going to involve his opponent not having mana to play spells. Like if his game plan works, his opponent just won't get to do anything because their lands will somehow be locked down.
Yeah, I think this deck's it's a really strong way to build your survival deck because you get access to Meddling Mage with this. He's got Enlightened Tutor Meddling Mage as a small white splash, and Meddling Mage is really strong when you can tutor it up and just get more Meddling Mages. So the first one's okay, but once you get 3 Meddling Mages on board, you might be able to just win the game that way.
Yeah, just lock them out of removal.
One card I think that is surprisingly absent from this deck is Force of Will. He has close to enough blue cards, but instead he's opting to play these Enlightened Tutors and Winter Orbs and additional walls. He's got both Wall of Roots and Wall of Blossoms in his deck.
Yeah, with these oppositions, maybe the concern was it's hard because you need enough blue cards for the Force Will, and you need enough creatures for the Survival of the Fittest. And you need your mana to work.
Yeah.
Maybe we just got too stressed,
Yeah, it's a tough balance. I know that Andrew Webb played it in a previous league with all of the Meddling Mages, all the Force of Wills, and Mana Leak in Tradewind Rider to get to enough blue spells. I think it's fine to go either way. Meddling Mage is strong enough on its own that you don't need the Force of Will to support it, and maybe this is a good way to play Meddling Mage and opposition.
Yeah, I will say that the card Meddling Mage, in our last match, we had 2 decks with Cabal Therapy. The card Meddling Mage is really powerful. It's one of those other cards where you name something. And in this format, there's a couple of cards that are really good that are choke points in the format. So Oath of Druids, Survival of the Fittest are 2 cards like that. There's also Swords to Plowshares, some decks that's
Pernicious Deed.
That's a good one to name. Really just cut people out of their trump card.
Well, let's go look at the other deck and see what cards he might want to name here, because Matt is on a deck he's calling the Temporary Solution, which at first glance, it looks like a landstill deck. And then you look at it closer, and there's no standstills.
No, we've got these Parallax Tides.
Yeah, this is a brew that's been pretty popular over in pre-modern, is the Parallax Tide Seal of Cleansing combo. I like it a lot in pre-modern when there's not Force of Will. But with the Force of Will, I don't know how good it is, but the goal here, similar to Casey trying to opposition and lock the lands out, or Winter Orb, we're going to Parallax Tide all the lands, and in response, Seal of Cleansing so that they don't come back when the Parallax Tide leaves. Otherwise, it looks like a normal landstill deck. It's got 4 Mishra's Factories, it's got some Humility, some Decree of Justice, Swords to Plowshares, Force of Will, Counterspell, Impulse, even has a Forbidding Watchtower.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know if Forbidding Watchtower makes the cut for
playing it over Fairy Conclave is an interesting choice, but I respect it. He also has 3 Lonely Sandbar.
Okay, so let's walk through how Parallax Tide works, because it's really weird. So first off, it's baiting. So it comes into play with these baiting counters, and you remove the baiting counters and exile these lands, right? That's how it works?
Yes, so for each fading counter you remove, you can target a land and remove it from the game. And then when Parallax Tide dies, it has another trigger to return all the removed cards back to the battlefield.
Right, but we can do some very goofy stuff with these triggers and blow up the Parallax Tide you might see. I got to think about this. So
So,
first, you blow
yeah.
up the Parallax Tide, and so the Leaves play trigger resolves first, but no lands have been exiled at this point.
No, so you can't do it because there's no counters. You have to exile. So the way fading works, you can exile all 5 counters, target 5 lands, and in response to all 5 of those, then you blow
Then you
up the
blow
tide.
up the Parallax Tide, and
And
so
so
the
they'll
Leaves play
all
trigger
yeah.
happens first, and so it Leaves play. It tries to return some lands. It hasn't exiled any yet, so it's like, okay, cool. Then it continues and exiles 5 lands, and they're just exiled forever.
Yes. So, it's also you can do that same types of tricks you can do with Parallax Wave. Parallax Tide's, good against every deck because every deck has lands, whereas Parallax Wave only good against decks with creatures. He's not playing any Parallax Wave. Sometimes the decks play like maybe 1 or 2 to go along with the Parallax Tide. He is playing 1 Replenish to bring it back.
Oh,
But his main
nice.
anti-creature stuff is the 4 swords
And humility.
and the 2 humilities. He's playing 2 humilities in the main.
All right, so if humility lands in game 1, I think that's just like GG. Like,
yeah, and the humility Mishra's Factory combo still works, even though you don't have
Yes.
standstill. It's still there. It's still gonna shut down any creature deck if you have that in play.
Okay. So this could be like kind of a gotcha because we don't have the deck list. So we could easily see a scenario where like Wrath of God is named with the Meddling Mage and not
Right.
humility.
Or standstill, which
or standstill.
Standstill. If there's an empty board, you might name standstill, thinking I don't want him to draw these cards, and it's just not in his deck. He's playing the full 4 impulse to find his combo. And one card I think is pretty sweet here to look at. He's got a Chain of Vapor in the main, which you can do a similar trick with Parallax Tide in the Chain of Vapor.
Yeah.
Is you exile everything and then you balance it, and then you can start your Parallax Tide again. And he has 2 Cunning Wish. So the Cunning Wish sideboard, he's got a Absorb, 2 Annul, Blue Elemental Blast, another Chain of Vapor. COP Red is not an instant, so don't worry about that. Disenchant, Enlightened Tutor to go find the Parallax Tide. Factor Fiction, Mana Short, Stifle also works with Parallax Tide.
Yes.
And Submerge.
Okay, so the players must have worked it out. We see them shuffling up conveniently.
There's a 4 on the roll, so somebody called even, somebody called odd. I don't know who won, but we'll find out.
I don't know. And conveniently, we have the life totals visible to us, so we won't be guessing. Yeah, although life totals really won't matter. Both of these decks are executing these sorts of game plans, and if they work, their opponent just isn't going to do anything anymore.
Yeah. I would say the life totals sort of matter. They're not completely irrelevant, as there is a lot of chip damage available from both decks. With the Landstill deck,
random creatures.
You have factory attacks. I'm going to call out Landstill for the match, even though it doesn't have standstill. And then the survival deck obviously has some, janky creatures that can get in for 1 or 2 damage.
Or just Deranged Hermit. You just play Deranged
Hermit
and like get them.
Somebody's going to probably do a lot of damage and put the other person on some pressure to answer it, and then the game's going to happen. That's generally how these type of matches go.
Yeah, I feel like it's possible if the survival deck like wins a die roll, it could just come out of the gates too fast. And who cares if all your lands get exiled if you're attacking your opponent with a bunch of creatures,
Yeah, I mean he also doesn't care about, he has 4 Wall of Roots, 4 Birds of Paradise, and a Llanowar Elves, so he might just have enough mana in play to completely ignore the Parallax Tide.
This is actually one of those scenarios where like Wrath of God would be really, really good because you can kill these mana dudes.
Which
and so
that will come up for the
really
sideboarded games. There is 2 Wrath of God in Matt's sideboard.
Yeah, well, those will be coming in.
So Matt's on the left, Casey's on the right. Looks like Casey is keeping his hand. Matt, I don't know if this is his first hand or his second hand.
All right, we're picking up a palm and a bunch of cards here. And see
looks like Matt's got a tasty beverage there.
Yes, gotta have it when you're having these IT difficulties.
Yes.
And Casey might be a little blurry. We'll try and call out the cards that are played.
It looks like Matt's mulligan.
We're ready to play some Magic. Oh no,
not quite.
As a blue-white player, obviously I am completely unbiased, but I wanted to see people get locked out by white removal and blue counter spells.
Yes, yes, you're the blue-white player
great.
here. I am the green player of the casting booth here. I like seeing Birds of Paradise do some work.
Yeah, I mean, I like it when Birds of Paradise is good enough to play. We're so spoiled by like all these other
You know,
mana
I'm
creatures.
actually like don't like playing Birds of Paradise in middle school. Whereas it's a card I love playing in modern and standard because generally every time I've played it, I've been able to turn it into an attacker, whether that's with Kessig Wolfrun or Gavin Township or some other type of enhancement. And in middle school or pre-modern, you just don't have those types of cards. So I have yet to register a Birds of Paradise deck for one of these leagues. I'll probably have to change that for the next one. But as much as I love Birds of Paradise, I want to attack with it, you know?
Well, play
Yeah.
I don't know, Armadillo Cloak. Put Cloak up the birds.
Yeah.
I don't
Elephant
know.
Guide? Like an Elephant Guide.
Elephant Guide's good. Elephant Guide's good. I can go for some Elephant Guides.
Trying to think of other ways I can make my birds
Rancor.
attack.
Rancor is in the format.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you don't get cool stuff like Sword of Fire and Ice or something
no,
sweet.
no,
Like,
yeah. I've definitely gone turn 1 birds, turn 2 Sword of Fire and Ice. What do you got, opponent?
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Speaking of
that
Sword of
was the
Fire and
play.
Ice, have you seen this Fervent Champion deck in Modern that just plays
yeah, I've seen Aspiring Spike play it.
Yeah.
So you like strap up his guys real quickly.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
excited
no, they're
about
playing
that.
Magic. Something's happening.
Oh, let's go. There's
Forced,
an island
forced into
and
Birds
then
of
a forest
Paradise. We're
into
just talking
birds.
about how great Birds of Paradise was. It's happening right now. This is replied. The answer is we've got Basic Island. So we're keeping everything on book. Now we're gonna play a Flooded Strand.
Sorry,
What is happening? The Blue White Mage is gonna do nothing because that's really the best type of magic.
All right.
We're gonna drop this forest. Yeah, just more
Super
birds. The bird is the word. And
So now that he's got his mana set up, he's not worried at all about.
Yeah, and we've got the
Parallax Tide.
survival. So maybe
He's
the
gonna go
survival
for
is
the
getting,
survival. I think the
countered.
survival might be bait because he wants
Yep.
to set up opposition next turn.
Yeah, possibly.
If he resolves opposition next turn, it's going to be probably a strong advantage for KC if that can happen.
But
maybe he doesn't have it. But
you still don't let the survival resolve.
No, you can't let the survival resolve.
No way you let that happen. So.
Even though it's not as scary as in the last match where the survival just won the game by itself.
Yeah, instantly killed you.
Here, it's going to take several turns to win the game, if not basically the entire rest of the game to win.
But that matters because the blue deck is playing an attrition style game plan. So letting your opponent draw an extra creature every turn off their survival is going to give them.
Yeah, it eventually becomes 2 creatures because the Genesis in the deck. Yeah.
I've played survival and I've watched a lot of games and I've never seen anyone set up Genesis. Like it takes so long. Like it just has not come up, even though it's just like
they play so few mana sources that are permanent.
No! Blue White did not have a third land.
All right, let's see if he's got another counter spell. Okay, there's another survival.
Okay, so yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we kept his hand for a reason. We knew we weren't going to get too far behind. All right, so Swallow Blossoms. That's fine. You can have that. That's fine, buddy.
Interesting. I think I might have led with the Law of Blossoms there.
I might have been inclined to do so as well. Just it doesn't.
If he's got counterspell, got counterspell, but I guess maybe
he's not
playing
going to counter Wall of
Mana
Blossoms.
Leak. Well, he
no
no
mana.
Land.
Okay, well, so far, fortunately, the Green Mage has only played 0 power creatures, so it's okay. And another Wall of Blossoms. Yeah, that's fine.
Any opposition is just game over.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, opposition is so powerful; it kind of always feels that way. All right,
third survival.
All right, what do you got? Force of Will. That hurts. But yeah, we got to do it. So that's like 3 survivals down. So now we're definitely on the man plan. Oh, Flooded Strand has been entered the building. So we can start plowing creatures that have power if they ever get played.
Or maybe he has an impulse and he just needs to turn off to cast it and get out of this mana screw.
Monk Realist. Okay, nobody cares about this random 1 power creature.
It's interesting. I guess it's not actually good against Standstill, so you play it ahead of time. So that makes sense.
It's not good against Humility. Also Monk Realist is not a May, if I recall. So if we have opposition, we have to play the Monk Realist first.
And there it is. There's the opposition.
So this is a must counter type of situation.
And I believe that is Urza and is it Baron?
Urza and Baron?
They're arguing with each other there in the art of opposition. I don't think there's going to be much of an argument left in this game if this card resolves. It's going to be a one-sided argument.
It feels like this card has resolved, and so suddenly these Wall of Blossoms are lethal threats because we can just never play Magic for the rest of the game. They don't print cards like this. The most recent analogous cards were like Glare of Sedul, which explicitly did not let you target lands. But Opposition just lets you tap down people's lands, artifacts, or creatures. And as a result, the Blue Mage is basically not going to do anything anymore.
Yeah, as Top of the Pop says here in chat, Realist beats are back. Yes, just like the last match. Monk Realist is going to be attacking probably every turn from now on. We have plenty of 0-power creatures to activate our opposition.
Yeah, when you've got your opponent locked out of casting spells, attacking with 1-power creatures is perfectly reasonable because they're just never going to do anything.
We got 18-turn clock.
It's probably good enough.
I agree. It is probably good enough. It's probably not going to take that long to win.
Yeah, we can hope. Let me check if there are any disenchant effects main deck here.
There are the Seal of Cleansings. There's 3 Seal of Cleansings to go with the combo. So,
okay. So this is actually pretty nice. So we're not just cold it out forever. And there's a Chain of Vapor. So
there's a Source of Plowshares on the Monk Realist at the end of turn when it tapped the plains.
Okay.
So still no attacks, no beats happening. We missed on Monk Realist beats again.
I mean, every creature is. Oh no, we're casting something.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Is that a Tradewind Rider?
Oh yes, it's a Tradewind Rider.
Okay, that's a Tradewind Rider.
That's a problem.
And one thing about Opposition is that it does not care if your creatures have Summoning Sickness, so you can use them immediately to start the Mana Denial. So even though you can't use Tradewind Rider to start bouncing things, you can use it to tap a land, and then once it gets active, it's going to turn off the Seal of Cleansing as an out for you because you can just bounce your opposition and replay it.
Yeah, but it requires you to have 2 other creatures untapped, so odds are your creatures are just going to be tapping the lands. But either way, I feel like blue control is in the stranglehold right now, and is somebody just going farming? So this keep makes sense. We had this 2-land keep, and we had like double plow, double counterspell. That's perfectly reasonable, and we just didn't get those lands in time.
Yeah, have a Force of Will. Yeah, we didn't get to execute our proactive game plan, and our opponent drew 4 must counter spells, and we only had 3 counter spells. So I'm actually not even sure how many must counters there are from the survival deck. There's the 4 survivals, there's 3 oppositions, and maybe the 2 winter orbs.
Yep.
Everything else you could probably let resolve. I guess the 2 meddling mages might be there, but you have Source of Plowshares for the
meddlings and the Deranged Hermits. Like Deranged Hermit by itself is such a big clock. You probably
but by the time Deranged Hermit is online, you're hoping to have your combo set up. So I think it's just kind of like he drew 4 out of the 7 spells that mattered. And who knows? He might still be able to get out of it if he gets draws a couple more land, and he might be able to use his Decree of Justice in the upkeep in response to these oppositions and put some counter pressure on.
All right, got a land. Like that's basically all we want to do is just like draw a bunch of lands and get our Seal of Cleansing going.
The one problem would be if there was a Deranged Hermit right here.
Yeah. We're speaking as mana is being tapped, and no, it's just Genesis. Genesis beats.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Genesis beats.
We're ready to rock with this.
Yeah, you can't really afford to counter it. You really want to draw Swords to Plowshares for this because if you counter it, it's just going to come back because it can bring itself back, right?
Yeah.
And then,
it can totally bring itself back. So we're just mocking Genesis and how it being too slow. If your opponent is on like ice cold blue-white control, then Genesis is perfectly fine because you have plenty of time.
He's just going to let him take a draw step here.
What?
Not afraid of a Wrath of God. Does he have the read? Maybe he's hoping that there's a Humility Resolve and he can turn all of his creatures into attacks. That's the way we're going to see a Birds of Paradise attack, guys. He's going to play a Humility in case he's going to attack with Birds of Paradise. I am ready for it.
Okay, yes.
I guess we're just draw stepping our...
Okay, sure. What's going on here? We're doing something. All right, so we're just like tapping down some lands.
Probably leave him with just an island untapped now. Well... I guess we had all of it.
Oh,
no,
okay.
he's got
So yeah,
the
we're
decree.
gonna make 2 soldiers, which sure.
Not really enough against the Genesis.
Yeah,
But
and like we can just leave the Wall of Blossoms untapped
Mhm.
during our turn, and then like I
if
don't
he
know.
only has the 2 walls
Mm,
and he's using them to hold your lands down, 3 tokens might have been enough, but 2
yeah,
tokens probably not enough, and the Genesis makes it
yeah, but
really
we
tough.
just gotta cycle through our deck and get to our outs. So that's fine.
I believe Casey is down to just 1 card in hand though, so
Yeah, I bet him because he's got like what 12 permanents in play, so
Yeah.
he's doing all right.
looks like we're gonna throw a soldier in front of the Genesis just
Yeah,
to
I
save
mean,
4 life.
sure, why
That's
not?
probably fine now.
Yeah, I mean that soldier's not really gonna do anything on the crackback or anything like that.
We drew a deranged
Okay,
tournament?
deranged tournament. So we drew a real magic card that's just okay. Yeah, that's getting force of will.
There's the Force of Will. Oh boy.
So
Now we definitely cannot kill this Genesis.
Yeah, we
Genesis
stemmed,
has to stay in play, or
we
get
stemmed the
exiled with Swords
bleeding.
of Plowshares.
Yeah, well, we played 2
Uh,
plows. We need humility. We need
It looks
somehow
like Matt is
seal of
also down to
cleansing.
1 card in hand, so they're both playing off the top.
Yeah. Well,
So
in
this
that
is a
case,
situation where opposition, while being very good, isn't doing a lot because maybe he can't cast a spell anyway.
yeah, I don't know.
It is stopping the Mishra's Factory from doing anything.
I feel like yeah, the opposition is definitely way ahead in this scenario here.
Yes. So the opposition deck can draw Melee Mage would be pretty good.
So what do you name? You just name Swords to Plowshares, right?
Yeah, I would name Swords of Plowshares because you have the Genesis and
yeah.
or maybe Wrath of God. Wrath of God might be the
Well,
other
Wrath
name.
of God is never going to happen. Like your opponent's never going to have for lands.
That's true.
And you have
you
the
can
Genesis.
usually cut them off of the white. So yeah, I would name
so it's
Swords of
gotta be Plow.
Plowshares if that happened. As it is, it looks like he drew a land.
All right.
Oh, no, he
now
did not
now
draw
we're
land.
oppositioning down the token just to get him. Oh,
He
whoa!
drew
We
the
did draw
swords.
Plow number 3. Okay,
That's a very good draw.
yeah. Now we're doing something like we're not going to beat it
So-
up anymore. We don't have any cards. We keep.
We're just gonna let him cast spells.
Yeah, I think we should be tapping in the upkeep. Like, what if he drew a Fact or Fiction here? We could have delayed that for a turn.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we should be tapping because we know he has Parallax Tide, which
Yeah.
it's not like Parallax Tide is like great here, but it can buy a lot of time.
Well, of course, that information is not known,
Right.
but anywho, yeah.
But even also, if he draws Decree of Justice, you don't really want him to cycle that again for any value.
Yeah.
We just need to find a way to win. Unfortunately, our deck is pretty low on ways to win.
Yeah, or another 0-power creature. That's what we need. That's going to solve all these problems.
This deck really needs like a Kamal. Well, maybe Kamal doesn't
Yeah.
turn the Wall of Roots or Wall of Blossoms into attackers, but
Yeah.
it does let your Birds of Paradise attack.
I mean, I remember playing, was it like Kamal and like Goblin Sharpshooter in my survival decks? Like animate their lands and machine gun them down.
Yeah,
And as cool as that sounds, that almost never actually happened. But it sounded real cool.
I had Kamal in my Cube Draft deck at the Set Roulette Championship, and I cast a turn 3 Kamal off of a Priest of Titania.
Yes,
and it just immediately won the next turn. I was like, "Oh, Kamal is still really sick."
Yeah, that's usually what would happen. I'd play Kamal and then I'd activate it with like Gaia's Cradle and just kill them instead of doing this other thing.
It was a pre-modern cube or a middle school cube, and it was pretty sweet. Kamal was one of the high picks.
Oh yeah, it's like triple green, right? So at least it's a steep commitment.
It's triple green to activate. It only costs 2 green to cast.
Okay.
But in a lot of the stuff, you're just you're gonna have mana elves around to tap for it. So it looks like Matt gets to attack with his soldier.
Yes.
Casey down to.
All right, so
25.
the life totals in this game, like everyone's got a lot of life. There's been a lot of plows. Matt only got bashed once by the.
You gotta really settle in. Maybe I should grab a beer now because I don't see this game ending anytime soon. After that,
no,
Genesis
the opposition is in
swords.
play. Just like nothing is gonna happen for a long time.
Because there's only one survival left. Opposition's just another. Ooh,
Masticore. So Masticore is a beater. However, it does lock Casey out because he has to discard to Masticore. So for the rest of the game, Casey will have no more things to do. So I don't even know if Masticore is what we. I might have waited a turn on the Masticore.
I would probably wait
Just-
one turn
Yeah,
personally.
so I can make
just to give you
decisions.
options to play spells.
Unless he's got
for
a
some reason
squee
this
in his
is a
hand or something
squee,
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the squee is in hand, this makes sense.
So, but also he can't regenerate through a Wrath of God. So I don't know why he's not tapping. A humility would let him just attack with the Masticore unimpeded because he wouldn't have Discord anymore.
Yes. Humility would be pretty problematic, I think.
Yeah, I think if you draw humility, even if you could cast it, I would not cast it here.
Yeah, all these 0-power creatures get to attack.
When I was literally in middle school, I had a humility deck because I think I owned 2 humility somehow, and I was like, you know what, humility is great with Ornithopter. So this is my middle school brain working. It's like a 1/1 for free. This is 15 years before they print Mim Knight, and it was not good, but turns out humility was good enough against my opponent's decks that I could still get some wins.
Yeah,
with a bunch of Ornithopters.
The broken card was an Ornithopter.
Yeah, or you play humility and then play a bunch of unholy strengths to put on my Ornithopters. My 1/1's bigger than yours now.
Got him. All right. Oh no, we're casting something. Are we just gonna? Whoa!
Do we have the decree?
What is going on here?
Is he gonna cast it for some angels?
I mean, they'll all get tapped down by the opposition. Yeah, but I think we're just supposed to cycle for as many guys as possible, so that humility is good.
Into a Masticore?
Good point.
I think I would.
So we just made a bunch of guys.
Well, we're gonna just draw our card. Drawing the card seems worth it, but you are just gonna get.
Yeah, we just we're I don't know how relevant this Masticore is. Now it's this Masticore is doing everything.
Start
yeah.
masticating.
Yeah, this is feels bad, man.
Yeah, and we're not even going to use our opposition here.
Oh, so he did have the squeeze, so it makes sense. Everything makes sense. This reminds me of Zach Brannigan in Futurama.
He's just going to play the land too. He's really going for it.
I defeated the robots by sending wave after wave of my own men at them until their kill switch was deactivated. And that's what happened with the Decree of Justice tokens, except the robot totally won.
Yes, that robot was unfazed.
It did not care. There's plenty of ammo left to keep just gunning down.
Yeah, there's still mana up. So even if you draw Seal of Cleansing for the Masticore, he can regenerate. There's no way to exile the squee from the graveyard.
So something's going.
I don't think there's a way out of this for Matt. I think this Masticore is going to go the distance pretty shortly. We got 3 turns here, a 3-turn clock. I'd be surprised if it goes more than 3 turns. I guess Source of Plowshares, he's cast.
There's only one left.
There's only one left. He has no Parallax Wave.
It's a little rough.
He can't wish for anything because Disenchant he can regenerate.
Okay, fact. Well, this is how we do it. Whatever it is, this is how we get back into the game. All right, so
if there's a swords here, you just throw it in one side and
swords against. But let's see. So doing these splits is a little tricky over the video client. So they got to be real careful on their communication. But splitting Fact or Fiction is a lost art, and we're pretty happy to see it here on the screen.
See what's going on here. Is he looking up Fact or Fiction, or is he looking up Impulse? It did look like he tapped 3 mana for the Impulse, which
I was confused by that too. I thought maybe because one of his lands got tapped or something. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Seal of Cleansing, Cunning Wish, Island, Impulse.
Well, I would probably just put Cunning Wish against because you don't really know what there is, but maybe that's too many cards for him. You could split the Cunning Wish and the Impulse.
This sucks because now that Seal of Cleansing is known, you can just always tap down the white sources. It'd been really nice if the Seal of Cleansing was a stealth draw.
Yeah, I don't like putting the Impulse and the Cunning Wish here because both of them could be finding answers to your Masticore, and they're both instants, right? So
yeah,
I think I would split those. You shouldn't be concerned about seal cleansing because you can regenerate. I guess it can blow up the opposition,
Yeah,
but
you
I
can
don't
just
think
ice down all
blowing up the
white mana.
opposition is going to be enough. The
Yeah,
Master
at this
Core's got a
point,
3-turn clock because he could even kill the
so
Mistress Factory, no problem.
yeah, I feel like I might want to split up the Cunning Wish and the Impulse. I think because those are the cards that
Yeah.
matter. Like these
And
other
if I'm
cards
mad,
aren't
I'm
fixing the
taking
problem.
I'm taking the pile with the 2 instants.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to at least take it with. You have to take the pile with the impulse because we know he doesn't have a way to kill the Master Core in the
Mhm.
sideboard, but the impulse can't find the source of plowshares. So I would take the impulse, and if it happens to come with a Cunning Wish that can go
Yeah.
get disenchant for the opposition, we might be in the game.
Yeah,
So we have to step 1, find the second sword or the fourth sword.
4 swords, get the 4 swords of plowshares.
Step 2, wish for disenchant, and we have like a 3-ish turn window here to do that. So it's not completely over. There's another factory. Factory does tie up the mana. No, not really. We have opposition in play.
Yeah,
so.
we got opposition. Like we just
Let's just remember to use it at the end of turn here.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what would be backbreaking is if Casey drew Winter Orb this turn.
Winter Orb would be really insane.
So let's see. Upkeep. Squeeze.
Get back our
Gonna come back.
Discard Squee. Now I draw.
Tapping some mana.
Tapping mana. That's
first. Let's attack for 4.
Yeah, get him.
And then we can block. Down to 8.
Right. The shields are pretty down here.
Tradewind Rider.
Tradewind Rider. Okay, sure. That's just, sure. So Matt can Cunning Wish for Submerge and submerge the Master Core. Which is actually relevant because Submerge is free.
Yes, that is definitely that's a good way. It's not going to buy. It's not a permanent solution, but it might be enough time.
If
this game got interesting, the opposition still needs to be answered, and the problem with Cunning Wish is that you can no longer answer the opposition. So,
right,
I think you still have to start with the impulse. Hope to find that 4th Swords to Plowshares, and you have to do it before this Tradewind Rider is active.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just the
even though Casey played a bunch of 0 power creatures, he still seemed to draw enough gas continuously to put the pressure on.
Yeah, just get over the get over the finish line here.
But it's not a complete lock, so this is why I would want to play Counterspell or Mana Leak or Force of Will in the deck, or have a faster kill. So here's the impulse for Matt.
Okay, we're looking for Swords to Plowshares. That's the easy
mode.
Has
to be Swords to Plowshares.
We hit Swords to Plowshares.
I don't even think any card other than that is good in this deck. I guess Seal of Cleansing would be good since we can cast it here.
Seal of Cleansing is good. You can Seal of Cleansing, blow up the opposition,
and then wish for Submerge.
Yeah, and then wish for Submerge. And then if you have a counterspell, you just counter the Master Core on the way down. Yeah. Like if the opposition is gone, you'll
have a turn to do that because you can Submerge on his main phase.
Yeah. So okay, now we're
tapping 4.
Humility.
Bold. I think this is not a good play.
Bold.
You're facing down 7, so you're almost dead on board.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're doing some math here.
We're figuring that out. We're like, wait, aren't you just dead?
Suddenly these
we do have the 2 factories. If we had left the factory up, well, the factories never get the opposition.
Yeah, we get the opposition. So interesting rules. We did kill a Wall of Roots.
Wall of Roots does die. That is correct. So we have 6 creatures in play. Still a 2-turn clock. We no longer have to discard our Squee every turn.
It's true. So I have a question. Like at this phase of the game, I don't think I would have played Humility, not just because there's 6 power, but because I feel like this game is very untenable.
Yeah.
I would not reveal that Humility was, even though it's a very reasonable guess to figure out that it's there. I would usually expect at least one
between main and board.
Yeah. Right.
But we'll go ahead.
We're just rumbling in.
I just have not been happy the way the opposition has been utilized here because I think you could have kept him off of the Humility Could have kept him
Yeah,
off of.
this humility should not be in play.
Oh, we're casting the squee.
Yeah, why not?
Let's
Get the
go.
squee out there. Okay, there's no like hibernation in the sideboard, which would not.
So that's
save him
definitely.
anyway.
I don't think there's any outs now. There's no Wrath of
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, there's
we
no
know
outs.
and there's no Parallax Wave.
And
I guess
even
Decree
if
of
we
Justice.
cycled
Decree of
a
Justice Decree of Justice. The third Decree of Justice could get him back in this game.
Okay. Yeah.
We have that'd be a decree for 5, maybe 6. 6 would be very good. 5 would be 5 would not be enough here. So 6 is 6 enough? No, 6 you taps on the 5 blockers. So even for 5 is not enough. So I think he's dead. I don't think he can
I
win.
think so too.
But that assumes that Casey remembers to use the opposition.
And it's we kind of as soon as the opposition came down, it was going to be really hard to win.
Yeah.
All right, so we're casting
in
Cunning
the chat
Wish.
here. Andrew says it seems hard to lose if your opponent has no white mana. Yeah, I agree. If we just tap the white mana down every turn, I don't know how we'd ever lose this game.
I don't lock down this. Yeah, what
you gotta
what
find the 4 swords. That's it. And
yeah, what if this humility was a Wrath of God? Like that would have been kind of problematic, actually. But
yeah, if the humility was a Wrath of God, we'd just be casting a squee and hoping it attacks.
Well, we'd still have the Master Core, but like
no, the Master Core would die.
Oh yeah, you can't regen.
Wrath of God.
Yeah. Like if the humility was Wrath of God, like we would have looked kind of sad. So we're casting Cunning Wish. And we're going to look at our sideboard, and we're probably going to find that nothing in our sideboard. And in fact, that is what we have determined.
We have determined that is not enough.
There are no outs. Okay, so
interesting deck choice, deck building decisions kind of cost him there.
Yeah.
So with play decisions might have cost Casey, but it didn't matter in the end. Master Core forcing the humility, letting the Birds of Paradise attack. Love to see the birds attack. Both of them got in
birds
there.
In the red zone. So looking at the sideboards, what we have in the blue-white sideboard, we have 2 Wrath of Gods. Those are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 Annuls. Those are actually pretty good.
Annul seems very strong against both Winter Orb, Survival, and Opposition.
Yeah. There's like 1 Tormod's Crypt. I don't know about that. And I wouldn't bother with anything else.
Yeah, I don't think you want the COP red. Everything else seems to be just like a Cunning Wish target.
Right.
As far as cards you would take out, I might just take out the Parallax Tides.
Right. My opponent's deck is all like mana creatures.
Yeah, I would take out 3 Parallax Tides and maybe the Replenish, or maybe the Chain of Vapor, because Replenish just on Seal of Cleansing is pretty strong. Yeah, Seal of Cleansing is very good.
Right.
And just kind of go that way, bring in those 2 Wraths and 2 Annuls.
Yeah. That being said, I'm very confident that the Parallax Tides will still be in the deck. You don't register a deck with like these Armageddon effects to like not play Armageddon.
That's true.
Like if I have Obliterate in my deck, I'm not taking
your deck's so strong if you just don't put it in. But we didn't show up to. So as far as Casey's sideboard, there's 2 Engineered Plagues. I don't know if you can bring in both. Sometimes you can bring in 1 to try and stop Decree of Justice.
Yeah.
He's got the extra
the third Meddling Mage. That's definitely coming in.
Yeah. 2 naturalized,
naturalized and Seal of Cleansing. Like
I don't think he wants those, but maybe he's not. Seal of Cleansing, he's probably going to bring in because it's actually good against Standstill, even though he doesn't know there's no Standstill.
The card Humility is just typically Humility is very scary for these sorts of creature decks.
Yeah, so I guess the naturalizes you would bring in, and then the other card.
You can blow up the factory.
Yeah, the other card he's going to bring in is the Xantid Swarm.
Xantid Swarm.
That's going to let him resolve any of these groundbreaking or game-breaking enchantments.
Xantid Swarm could really mess up the math. What do we take out? It's a grindy match. I'm kind of keen on taking out the Enlightened Tutors.
I'd take out. I don't know about taking out Enlightened Tutor because we have so many
Gilded Drake. Get out of here.
Gilded Drake. I would consider taking out Wall of Roots, even though we're a survival deck.
Yeah, maybe some of these walls. You're totally
or maybe
right.
it's Birds of Paradise instead of Wall. Like one of these 0 power guys that's only good if you resolved opposition.
Yeah. Okay.
I could see taking out maybe the Quirion Ranger and maybe the Uktabi Orangutan. I know the Orangutan can hit
the
factory some situations, but not usually.
Yeah, that's a silver bullet you don't need.
And maybe the Monk Realist comes out if it's not good against Standstill, it's not good against Humility.
It's not good against Humility. Like Yeah, what is it doing here?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some things we can cut.
And in theory, you might not want the Masticore, but as we saw, it's really good against Tree of Justice, and it's also like probably your fastest clock in the deck. So
yeah,
I would keep the
Masticore and
Masticore in.
Deranged Hermit.
All right, looks like they're shuffling up.
Okay, so blue white gets to be on the play. Hopefully they won't stumble on lands.
Yeah, all they really need is to draw the same hand they did, and just not have Casey draw 4 must counters in the first 4 turns.
Yeah, for just straight bangers, straight bangers.
Yeah, it's just like counter it, counter it, counter it, and then the 4th one.
Yeah, and then you're locked out of the game.
Eventually, you're gonna run out if that happens. So
we needed to blow up all of the lands first or something. I don't know.
I was making a joke earlier before it started that Casey was on 61 cards, but funny story, Matt is also on 61 cards.
Got it. Even up the playing
canceled
field.
Any advantage anybody has there has been wiped away. Yeah, Xanthid Swarm is pretty sweet. I hope we see it indeed top of the pops. But Xanthid Swarm starts with an X, not a Z.
No, I gotta get my Xanax.
X gonna give it to
you. Okay, so nobody's making any like big shifts. Yeah, I couldn't even if we had like some sort of sideboard juke, like I couldn't even imagine like if your opponent, for instance, has opposition in play, like that's just gonna beat almost anything, So
yeah, you'd have to have some type of like real combo. You can't just be like, oh, I have some Exalted Angels.
Right, like sometimes I would do that. You just like fly overhead with some Exalted Angels, but that doesn't really matter in the context of this game. Like they bounce back to your hand of Trade Wind Rider locked out with opposition, so that's not a real plan.
Yeah. All right. So looks like they're almost ready. Looks like Casey's trying to look something up. I don't know if he's looking for an Oracle text on a card. Maybe it's the card Humility. Maybe he wants to know if Monk Realist kills Humility.
It doesn't.
Bad news there. Bad news. It does not do that.
Nothing. Yeah. If your plan against Humility to most creatures, then that plan is attacking with 1/1s with no text. Like that. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen any of the cards from the new set, the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
But that Boseiju card, that card is something else. So it's like,
yeah, that card.
If you just have Boseiju in your deck, you could just kill Humility, no problem.
I mean, like it's like if you have Boseiju in your deck and they tinker up Sphinx of the Steel Wind, you can still blow it up.
Oh man, wow!
Like what?
Yeah, it's just so funny that we're playing middle school, and like I remember when Naturalize was first printed in Onslaught, how big a deal that was. That green
I remember that too.
Has a disenchant. And now green just has a disenchant that's also a land and also
uncounterable.
It's also a wasteland too. Like it just blows up lands for some reason. It's wild.
Yeah.
There's a reason we're playing middle school and not modern right now.
Yeah. And I like how it's worded because you can go get lands out of your deck and you can even get like dual lands. But if your opponent is playing, like workshops and vintage, you can just like blow up their lands for free because they just don't have any lands to fetch. Which is a scenario I find quite enjoyable because I loathe workshops. Sorry, shops players. Same with like Bazaar Baghdad. Like you just blow up their Bazaar because I have no lands in their deck.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, I think Bazaar, I'm a fan of Bazaar decks that have lands in them as well. But
I am as well.
But the mono Bazaar decks, I don't need to see you.
Even Dredge, like Dredge has other lands, but they're like Dakmor Salvage. They don't have like islands or.
It was cool. It was cool the first time I saw Manaless Dredge back in 2006. I would say it has not been cool since then.
Okay.
We got turn 1 birds.
All right, Coastal Tower, and we're gonna go Forest Birds of Paradise. So we're keeping it real. What do we got first, Coastal Tower? And so right now, Casey might be sweating. He's like, "Oh man, this would be the time for my opponent to drop standstill."
Yes.
But no, that's not the thing we're worried about here. There is no standstill. All right, that's going to the tank. Okay, playing factory. So
yeah, you would expect standstill here like 80% of the time
I would
that
be
you
like
saw this start.
just sweating the standstill
Because it's like it's not counterspell and it's probably not mana leak. It's got to be standstill, but as it is, maybe it's seal of cleansing.
Yeah,
maybe
if I have seal of cleansing,
maybe it's swords on the birds. Ooh,
Woo!
that's very aggressive.
Is aggressive. Yeah,
very aggressive.
That is, you know, in the previous match we're talking about like always killing like the birds if you're playing red. Whoa, but it worked. Check it out. He's only got green mana.
He only has green mana. Maybe there was a
Soul Reed.
I don't know what card he could have played there with another color though. A squee.
I don't know, but we had mentioned that these survival decks has a pretty ambitious mana.
There's just all forests. There's a survival.
Okay. So just, hey, we might go get a Birds of Paradise with the survival here, or maybe it'll just get it countered.
I always wonder if survival decks should play more basics and play like Yavimaya Elder.
That's so slow.
It's very slow, but you know we have a lot of uses for the mana. If you're a grindy survival deck like this, obviously if you're a combo deck like the Full English Breakfast deck we saw last match, you don't have time for that. You just want to kill them.
Yeah.
But maybe if you're a deck like this, you're interested in playing fewer cards like Gemstone Mine, Undiscovered Paradise, and maybe you can play a couple more islands. And maybe you just go get them with your Yavimaya Elder. Because you're always down to draw forests once you have survival in play.
Yeah. That's just more demonic tutors you get to cast that turn. All right, so
counterspell in the survival. I'm gonna quickly text somebody, check the sports scores, check out how Bitcoin's doing. Whatever we're doing on the phone there, but Matt's gonna have a follow up here. Is it Parallax Tide? Do we get to see Tide one time?
Or are we gonna attack with these factories? Come on, show us what you got.
Attack with 3. Get some 3 damage in there.
In the last game, we really never got to cast any proactive spells.
We gotta make sure they know that Matt should be at 19 there from the fetch land.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. If you can communicate to them. I don't know if Casey knows that or not, but
maybe that's what he's looking at this one. I don't know.
He's trying to dial a judge. My opponent didn't take one. Here is a Seal of Cleansing. Okay. We're gonna wait a turn and then maybe cast the Parallax Tide next turn.
Yeah, come on. Let's yes. Can we just KO the game next turn with
Can we attack? Are we attacking? Let's get in there.
Up all of his lands.
For 2. Mistress Factory.
Yes, start the beatdown process. Hey, don't forget to subtract 1 from your own life.
Yeah, it looks like Casey has it there. He's got that 4 on his dice, so I think he knows that. There's a Winter Orb.
Gross.
Not very strong against a Seal of Cleansing, but it is a must answer.
Parallax Tide, which is the utterly unbiased observers here. We want to see people's lands get exiled from the game.
So, we want to see people not cast spells. And I think that was our biggest disappointment from the last game is that the guy had 6 creatures in play and an opposition, and yet his opponent got to cast spells every turn.
Yeah.
We just want to see people just tapped out and frustrated, stand on the table, there, draw, go,
just your turn. Dejected, Magic as is meant to be played if you're like the biggest troll ever. All right, no, we're just yes.
4 damage coming in.
Yes.
Who's the beatdown? It's the man with Mistress Factories.
Yeah.
Because it's always the man with Mistress Factories.
Always. Never.
And we even got the white up for Source of Plowshares. Oh, it's the Coastal Tower. We
dude,
maybe he has the annul.
Ooh.
There is City of Brass, is that right?
City of Brass. Oh, City of Brass. There's a Seal of Cleansing. It beats Mishra's Factory. It's Seal of Cleansing. So, all right. But Seal of Cleansing does not beat Parallax Tide. The person plays the Parallax Tide, and they
Seal of Cleansing always beats the other Parallax cards.
The other Parallax cards?
It only works good if you control both.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't worry about it. It's not as bad as you think. It's not as scary as you think. Where you're like, oh my god, if I blow it up, they're gonna get me. No, they can't get you.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just gonna call.
We're gonna attack with at least 1. Now, I would attack with 2 here unless we have something.
Yeah, we did it last time. Like, it's not like it's okay. Yeah, man down. Okay. Didn't even wait to see if there's a pump, and we just pass. Okay, so we just kind of trade some resources. But now Matt's hand is, I mean, Casey's hand is unlocked with the City of Brass. We can maybe play some Trade Wind Riders or something.
We can play.
Or how
there's a
about Survival of the Fittest? Hey, that's a magic card. We've only seen one counterspell played so far, so odds are there's more counterspells
There it
lurking in the
is.
wind. And there are.
All right.
Okay.
Parallax
We
Tide.
wanna
Let's see it.
Parallax Tide. We want to see humility. We want to see.
Tide is high.
Yeah, come on.
I'm holding on.
You know, just get swifty. Show us what you got.
I'm gonna be your number one.
Man, maybe Casey has like a really hot date after this. He's like, man, I shouldn't have played a prison deck. I got to keep checking my phone and telling my lady I'm almost done playing Magic. You know,
these people want to watch me on stream, and I'm playing the slowest deck.
Yeah, not now, honey.
Looks like we got the live totals adjusted here.
Okay.
13, 19. That looks correct. I think it's still Matt's turn. He's deciding what he's going to do.
Yeah, and in classic blue-white fashion, the answer is nothing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you might even consider just casting a Decree of Justice for one angel.
Yeah, one angel would be pretty good here.
One angel's not bad.
No.
The only answer he really has to it is Trade Wind Rider. And you're gonna do at least 8 damage before that happens. So
and your opponent has City of Brass, like you just want to clock them,
and you have the factory to finish them off, maybe. Plus whatever you have. So
like whenever my opponent has Ancient Tomb, I'm always looking for any way to attack. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It looks like this is probably the Trade Wind
Rider.
Yes.
Yep, that's what's happening. We need one more creature so we can start bouncing stuff. We're gonna make two guys.
2 soldiers.
No, we're just gonna hard cast
the Force of Will.
Okay, that's fine.
That is reasonable. I mean, it's a good exchange.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost you any life. You had all the mana up anyway, so maybe now we're just building up for 2 angels. I would like to see 2 angels now.
Yeah, I like that. Like
2 angels is much better than 1.
Yeah, especially.
I don't want to see any soldiers this game.
No, not with this Wall of Blossoms giving up the works.
Yeah.
Like the only problem with hard casting the Force is now if we tap out for angels, we can't like potentially force on the follow up. Though honestly,
that's the only card that stops your angels.
Yeah. There's not a lot. Let's say that we make 2 angels. There's actually not a lot in Casey's deck that like beats 8 power with angels in the air. This
like one angel you could maybe lose if he's still kept in the Gilded Drake, which
nobody expects Gilded Drake.
But 2 angels still you're gonna race that.
Oh my god, my head would explode. Like if I played my like no creature deck and they put a lefty Gilded Drake, you're like, what happened?
Here's the Drainage Tournament. It looks like it's gonna get counterspelled.
Yeah, we gotta counter that
Impulse
guy
first.
Impulse. Uh-oh. Is this Drainage Tournament gonna resolve? Like that's a problem.
Well, we could draw. Find a counterspell. There's 2 left. There's 3 Force of Wills. So if there's another blue card,
or maybe just Wrath of God, which is Wrath on our turn, or
Wrath
something.
would be very good. Even 2 angels is still probably enough. He's committed to Echo at that point.
Yeah. 2 angels would be fine.
He's committed to Echo, taking another 1, and then you can just kill the Deranged Tournament with the swords and easily win that race. All I'm saying is I want to see some angels.
Yeah. I would like it if Matt made like a really powerful play.
I wanted to see some morphs last match. I want to see angels this match.
Resolves. Like I respect getting chip shots in with Factory, but show us we know you can do more.
Where are the hay makers?
Yeah, like blowing up all. You know what stops Echo? Blowing up all their lands with Parallax Tide.
Yes, Parallax Tide was so good right now.
Yeah, you just exile all of Casey's lands, and
looks like he's tapping a white.
What's happening here? We're gonna go for the
Wrath.
Wrath.
A Wrath of God, and we're gonna attack for 2. Get this beat down on.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Love it. All right. Nice tokens you got there.
It's a little awkward to Wrath there when we could have, maybe not forced the Trade Wind Rider and picked it up in a Wrath.
Yeah.
But if we had let that Trade Wind Rider resolve, it might have been untapped to bounce the Hermit there, and so it works out.
Yeah, it's
because he's probably not attacking with the Trade Wind Rider. There's a Meddling Mage.
All right, Meddling Mage. So only 1 Swords has been played. So Swords, Humility, and Wrath, are in the deck.
Yeah, I think I would name Humility here. Just imagine if I'm in his shoes. Humility seems like the card.
Now we still have the Masticore.
Yeah, especially with the Masticore as a follow-up. Humility is the one that like really shuts this down. Though Second Wrath obviously does that. Two Angels.
I wonder if
good.
our table spotter can tell us. Okay, we're gonna write.
Yeah, let me know, Casey. Show it to the camera.
Yeah,
that did not help. This camera is less than ideal.
Casey's camera is very sad.
Thanks to PRT319, subscribe with Prime. Give us those Bezos bucks.
Yeah, Bezos bucks. Gotta put food
Bezos
on the table
every first of the month.
Yeah. Okay.
I get none of the Bezos bucks that goes to this channel, but somebody somewhere gets them, and good for them. I'm just happy to help. Replenish. This looks like it's getting a Seal of Cleansing and a. Is that it?
That's it? Seal of Cleansing? Oh, well, he's tapped out. We can blow up the Masticore.
Kills the Masticore, and we get to attack here with the Factory and pump it if he blocks.
Okay. All right.
He's playing matching art factories, so hopefully there's no shenanigans about which one has Summoning Sickness.
Well, they've all been sitting. Oh no, and one did just show up.
No, I guess you're right.
I don't remember.
One did just show up because he was one short of 2 Angels. So let's don't screw this up like on Magic Online.
Magic Online. We just like tap mana. Okay, go.
All right, down to 5.
Oh man,
does Casey have any cards in hand? It doesn't look like it. Or he should have had at least one for the Masticore, right? Oh yeah, he's got. He's got several there. Okay.
He's got a grip because
there's the Winter Orb. Second Winter Orb, backbreaking.
Oof.
There goes the Mistress Factory plan out the door.
Yeah, that hurts.
Medley Mage no longer afraid to start racing.
Hurts. Okay, that is a big play. Now
Winter Orb is one of those cards that not a lot of people play. They don't play in enough quantities where you want to try and metagame for it, but there's some cool cards you can play to beat him, like Abolish. Abolish would be nice.
So yeah, this game really turned around here. Before that Winter Orb,
it looks like
looking really good.
With the Treywood Rider, if we just find a Birds of Paradise, we might be able to lock the game up, but it's not a complete lock because he can untap one land a turn, and with that land, eventually he's going to be able to Wrath of God or Humility.
Okay, well, we're just attacking, so we don't have creatures.
We don't have creatures yet.
Oh, well, Casey has trouble playing creatures because he is also under the Winter Orb.
They're both under the Winter Orb. So maybe we can afford to just start attacking back. I think if you attack back here, he's forced to leave.
Oh, as long as
you draw lands, this Factory might be it. I would attack for 2 here. Put him to the test. He's at 4.
To leave a guy back. Nope, but we're not doing that. And so it's important to note, we have 4 mana. We did not cast Wrath or Humility. Not that we really wanted to.
We do have the 3/3 blocker.
Another creature. Okay, we got a Wall of Blossoms. So now the Treywood Rider can start bouncing things, which is somewhat embarrassing if you have lands like Coastal Tower.
I don't think it's going to be bouncing lands anytime soon. I think it's going to bounce the Winter Orb, and then it might just start bouncing Wall of Blossoms.
Right. All the combos.
As we keep them in the Winter Orb block.
Yeah. This could
get active Treywood Rider is
out of control.
Going to be hard to beat without a Wrath of God. And Wrath of God's probably what's named on the Medley Mage. If that's what it's Wrath of God or Humility, it's got to be. Yeah. It could be Source of Plowshares, but.
All right, but we're gonna attack with the guy.
That's interesting.
So we're drawing live. Matt has outs, so we need Wrath, Humility, Plow. Parallax Tide is not looking very exciting at this point in the game, sadly.
Yeah. Another Seal Cleansing would be okay. Cunning Wish for Disenchant.
Yeah, Seal of Cleansing would be great. Cunning, that's on the table.
Can't play an angel anymore. Looks like angels are off the table.
No. Boo. So we're kind of just drawing a bunch of lands, which is, all right.
Tapping.
Doing something.
4.
Oh, dude, I think we are going to...
Fact or fiction?
Fact or fiction? Okay. We really want that seal of cleansing then.
Impulse?
So if we
Island counterspell. Seal of
So
cleansing.
it's like seal of cleansing. Okay.
This is interesting because I think what I would do in Casey's shoes is put the 2 seal cleansing on one side.
Yeah, I think so. No, because in the other seal of cleansing is in the graveyard.
But I would put him on the same side because the second one doesn't do anything after it blows up the Winter Orb, and then he's forced to give up 3 action spells just to kill the Winter Orb and turn on his Mistress Factories. And at that point, we have an active Tradewind Rider. That see this, I don't like splitting the seals because now he gets just to pick. He could just take the seal plus the impulse, or the seal plus seal plus impulse gets him seal plus possibly a Wrath of God or a humility.
Yeah,
whichever one is.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I would have just done the seals against, because the seal is actually the only real card. Like you
right.
have
the seal is the only card
you
that
just
does
have to take
anything
the
on this
seal.
board until the seal resolves. So if you just put them together, and the second seal doesn't do anything. There's only the other Wind Orbs already in the graveyard. Sure, he could have an opposition or a survival follow-up, but that you're already kind of behind to the Tradewind Rider board. So.
Whoa, okay. It's important to note that we did not use the seal right away.
Because we don't want to let him untap.
Okay, yeah. So, but now Casey, if Casey just didn't attack, we're bouncing something.
We're bouncing the Wall of Blossoms.
Okay, that's fine.
I think that's fine. We can find another creature, which lets our Tradewind Rider continue to snowball and lets us attack.
Okay, so now we blow up the thing. Also, the Wall of Blossoms blocks the factory.
Yeah.
But if we blow up the thing and just have Wrath or something, pass, right? Is that what's happening?
I think that's a pass.
Okay, so we gotta blow up the thing. Yeah.
Let's untap all our lands.
All right, so now we could just
impulse. We can impulse for whatever we need to because we got the impulse and the land. We have a
lot of options. We could make a bunch of angels. We could irrelevantly exile a bunch of lands. So we'll lead up with impulse. Yeah, let's. We want to make this is our turn to make a big play. Like the pendulum kind of swung against us. Now we're back in the game. Can we put ourselves ahead? Okay, Swords to Plowshares was the name.
Okay. If you go back a turn to when you said he didn't blow up the Winter Orb right away, if you let him untap and he decides to hold up the Tradewind to bounce the Winter Orb, you still get to untap all your lands, and that's probably going to be enough.
Yeah,
you can at least play around Winter Orb the rest of the game.
Yeah, and just counter it on the way back down. So you're right. Okay, we're casting Wrath. Humility. All right, that's fine.
That's good.
That is good.
We got the 2 factories to hold down the fort. Mm-hmm. We might even attack with one this turn. We got the swords.
Now we can cast Swords to Plowshares. We'll plow the meddling. To be sure. Okay. So I'm actually guessing that this humility might just blow up because Casey's had a bunch of cards sitting in his hand all game that they might just be disenchant effects.
Well, we saw the 1 seal cleansing from him, right, on the Mistress Factory that he was happy to fire off just to save some beats. So I think you're right. It's probably a naturalize or 2 in his hand.
Right.
So
see what he does with these 2 factories. Okay, well, we're rumbling in. We might have to naturalize a factory because.
Well, you can naturalize the humility here and block.
Yeah, naturalize humility and block.
That's if I had a naturalize, that's what I would do. So maybe he doesn't have it. Or maybe he's got another Winter Orb. Well, no, the Winter Orbs are both in the yard.
Yeah, we're in some trouble here. The humility makes most of our cards not do anything.
Yeah.
And I think we're about to just lose our guys to some factories and then die, then get stuck in the factory abyss. Whoa! But we're just gonna keep casting spells.
We're gonna cast Wrath of God.
We're gonna Wrath, okay, and then we're gonna rumble in with factories. That seems fine. And Casey's seen it. All right, guys.
3. All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, our first match was kind of quick. And this one you're gonna get 3 games. You're gonna get your complete money's worth. Like we had a little bit of a wait while we went through the technical issues, but it's all happening now, and we're moving into game number 3.
This game's
Ty,
going to
what do you-
be interesting
yeah.
to see if anybody changes anything on the sideboard. I still feel like Casey's got to be convinced that there's standstills in Matt's deck list. He's
Yeah,
yet to
we
see the
haven't seen-
Parallax Tide, which maybe Matt was smart and decided it out.
Yeah,
We didn't see it
maybe
either.
Matt just took him out, which would be sad, but isn't wrong.
It's definitely
My
the right
opponent's
play.
deck is- yeah, I just wanted to see
Yeah.
Lance get exiled.
The Swords to Plowshares on that Birds of Paradise really paid off that game.
Yeah. Well, that was really aggressive, but he was
It
just
kept him from
cut
playing like
off
a
of
turn
mana,
2 Seal of Cleansing that might have stopped
Mhm.
some of those early factory beats quicker that put him at the lower life that let Matt really kind of close the door with those factories he drew. It's interesting this strategy at play on both sides. I think Casey still wants to have all those naturalizes in after he saw humility for the second game. He's probably thinking there's at least 2 now. Melee Mage he still wants. He probably still has the Xanthid's form in. I think everything is about the same. And I don't think Matt saw anything different there that's going to change the way he did.
I don't think. Well, also Matt can't really sideboard a bunch because he's a bunch of Cunning Wish targets.
But those Wrath of Gods were clutch. They did all
Wrath
the
of
work.
God is you just wanted to bring in these Wrath of Gods. Maybe just bring in the Submerge. I don't know. Maybe just bring in
It could be worth it bringing in the Submerge because you just really need to live till you get to Wrath of God.
I mean, I really love submerging turn 1 Birds of Paradise because just making the bird wait a turn is such a brutal play.
Somebody says he's bringing Wave back in.
Yes,
on the draw. Bringing Wave back in.
The Wave. I love that Pixie song, Wave of Mutilation.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
There's a band that does a Ride the Wave. What's that song? Ride the Wave.
I know. Ride the Lightning. That's a song.
I thought there was a song. No, I don't know that song. Not the song.
Odds are, like, we're bringing in the Wave, and the song we're going to be playing is Wipeout. Okay.
Wipeout!
Exactly.
Yeah, Wipeout's a good one.
All right. So, on that note, have you ever been surfing in your travels?
Yeah. So I lived in Hawaii for 4 years there. I tried to surf. I am not nearly good enough of a swimmer to be able to surf. I could not even like get the board out into the ocean. I'm just like treading water.
Paddle,
like,
you just could paddle the board.
Yeah, I'm not a good swimmer. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've only been surfing once. I really enjoyed it, but Ty's not wrong. They don't tell you that most of surfing is just paddling the board around.
Yeah, it's just all swimming. It's swimming and waiting, and then you have to and then you have 10 seconds of Then you have to learn how to surf in these 10 seconds.
Yes, you have 10 seconds where hopefully you catch the wave, and then if you're awesome, you can stand up on your board, and then that's it. But it's really a lot of fun, and it is a lot of paddling. Yeah. So
it seems like it's a great hobby. You get out in the ocean, out in the sun, get to enjoy that. But I'm pretty averse to being out in the sun anyway. I sunburn way too easily, so I tried it a couple times out there and decided it wasn't for me.
Well, I was out in the sun, but I was in a wetsuit, so I was pretty protected, because the Pacific Ocean is very cold. Yeah. So speaking of sports, let's keep talking. In a week, hopefully, I will be going skiing. Operation Broken Leg. So
nice. Where are you going?
I'm going to Steamboat Springs.
Okay.
Cannot wait.
I've only been skiing once, and it was over 10 years ago, and even then I was like, I don't think my knees could ever handle this. So I was like, I wasn't even 30 yet, and I was like, I don't know if I can handle this anymore. So
woof.
I'm just not an athletic person.
I went to snowboarding 11 years ago, and I thought it was great, and then I haven't been able to go back until now. And this time I'll do skiing instead, so we'll see how that plays. All right. Wow. So Casey has it again. Forest birds every time. 100% of the time, it works every time. That's what Casey's telling us.
You put them in your deck for a reason.
Yeah, and then you play 61 cards. Cards. Okay, so I'm curious, will we reply with swords on the birds? I think we will. There's no we're just getting the
the
birds
play
out of here.
works game 2. He's
Yeah.
probably just going to do it again game 3.
I think that I would go, especially if Parallax Tide is in my deck.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
if Parallax Tide is in my deck,
and it's
I'm-
just a
I'm
forest. Maybe
killing
if it's like
Birds of
Yavimaya
Paradise,
Coast,
you know?
you think twice.
Okay,
Second
well,
birds plus a city.
so the mana denial plan is not going to work, but yeah, I still kind of like it, especially seeing the Winter Orb. You just like want to kill these mana creatures. You're on the draw. You can't let them get too far ahead. I really just can't. And there's like Meddling Mage. Like, what if he uses the birds to cast Meddling Mage next turn?
Right.
I'm a big
right.
fan of playing the birds now that I have a.
Now we see the game. It seems like you really kind of, especially if you have the planes, you don't have the double blue here because, you're looking at a turn 3 opposition that could win the game if it's not answered. So here's a Meddling Mage.
Meddling Mage. Wow,
Probably gonna name
wasn't someone
Force of
just
Will
talking
or-
about this card
or Counterspell. I would imagine
Right.
at this point, it's early enough we can name the counters to try and resolve one of our enchantments.
Yeah,
We don't know about the annuls, so
maybe they aren't even there though. I would put them in for sure if
Mhm.
were I in Casey in Matt's
and I
position.
think in Casey's shoes, you'd rather resolve a survival than an opposition, just because you can get more long term value.
Yeah, he's
if he
just
draws
grind
a
him out.
seal. If he just draws opposition and then he is able to sneak out a seal because you only have a couple of creatures to stop his lands.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, so we're going into the tank on this meddling. It's and now we're gonna play a Well of Blossoms.
Yeah, let's see if we can find out what he named.
All right, I pinged him in the chat, so hopefully we
Okay.
can get that information.
Looks
Swords
like
was named again.
Okay. Well, with the follow-up
Okay.
wall,
We know that it's a 4-of.
maybe he has the second Meddling Mage in his hand because he's got 2 others in his deck. If he has another one, naming Swords with the first one is definitely right. Then maybe you
if
can
he
just
has
name Wrath with the second one.
Yeah, if we have an opposition here, then we can never Wrath.
Survival.
All right, here's the survival. So Counterspell is not in line. Oh, no!
Oh, he's got the annul.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's a big game.
Clutch annul.
Yeah. Oh, we're not even gonna attack with the meddling. Come on, man.
Well, we were just too backbreaking this annul.
The null just like got us. Like we're just like tilted off right now. It's like, what happened?
And here comes.
Oh no,
humility.
Wrath. What is humility?
Oh,
Wrath.
Gross.
Wrath.
Wrath is very good there. Swords is back online.
Swords is online.
It looks like Blue White's going to take down another match here on these streams. I know if you've been following these leagues since the fall of 2020, you've seen the Blue White decks win way more than they lose.
Yeah,
this looks really good for the Blue White deck. But we do have an Enlightened Tutor here.
Go get another survival. I assume.
Survival?
Or is he going to get the Winter Orb and just like freezes mana without any beats in
Orb's
play? I'm not a
enough.
fan of that. Yeah, I'd get survival.
Yeah, you're not even far enough ahead for the Winter Orb to do enough. So get the survival.
Get your engine online. Start working.
Yeah.
And so the Blue White decks have won a bunch, and that's because they just kind of build themselves. Like, hey, we have the best counter magic. Force of Will and Counterspell. We have there's Force of Will. We have the best removal. We have Plow and Wrath of God.
They're just naturally good against what middle school is about, which is there's a lot of combo decks, and then there's a lot of Force of Will decks, and it's the best Force of Will deck. It also happens to be the best against the combo decks, and it presents a hard problem for the fair decks to beat because you'd have no creatures, and you have these standstills, and you have the Mishra's Factories that are tough. Now Matt doesn't have standstill, so he's not going to be able to punish. He's not as punishing on his good draws. But at the same time, he has kind of his own combo kill in the deck with the Parallax Tide.
So Matt has pulled ahead. This Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
He's cleared out these locked creatures. He's Force of Willed the survival. It's important to note that Chain of Vapor is still in his deck. So that's kind of interesting.
I think Chain of Vapor makes sense against Meddling Mage. It gives you an out there.
All right. Yeah. Well, Blossoms. We'll let that happen.
Yeah, this is one of those decks where Casey's deck is clearly not designed to beat a Landstill type deck because he's got so many
0 power creatures
that have 0 power. That really all you need is creatures with power. Try and fight attrition game, and use your backbreaking enchantments as a way to pull ahead. And he just doesn't have the capability to do that. even when if he resolves that survival, I'm not sure it's going to win him the game.
All
You know,
right.
it can, it definitely has the
So,
capability
im-
long term, but if against the
Mhm.
humility, a survival might not even be enough. He's
It's
still
true.
limited
All
to
right.
finding his answer.
So we looked out, and Matt didn't have like a powerful play. All we have is impulse. We're like kind of afraid that like maybe a factor fiction might show up. So we're still playing Magic. Like we're like very the game's kind of at parity, honestly. Um, like it could definitely go any either way.
Hmm. I still feel like he's pretty far ahead here. You know, I don't know how many cards. It looks like Casey only has 2 cards in hand. Matt has at least 3. He gets to take the best of the 4 he's looking at here,
Yeah, that's true. And he gets
and
like first action
he has so many good cards. Even just untapping and casting Factor Fiction's probably enough to put the
to
game
lock it
away.
up. Yeah.
So you would probably wait till the end of the turn because you're under no pressure.
Well, I wonder what the book is. Casey's just like got everything. He's like looking at his phone, he's reading these books. Like,
Oh, we're cycling Lonely Sandbars over here,
wow,
so must have a lot
yeah.
of lands. Looking for any type of action. Want a
Sandor.
factory? You can make an angel right
Okay.
now. Angel, please.
No, I thought making one angel took 6 mana.
Does it? I thought it was 2 and a white. Maybe you're
It's
right.
two
It
and a
is.
white, and then XX, so that's
It's 2
six
white,
mana.
white, and XX. Am I just
Yeah,
wrong here?
2 white, XX, so that's 6 mana to make one air
Okay, so we need
elemental.
6 mana for the angel.
Yeah.
Well, I keep
All
thinking of
right.
Entreat the Angels where you can cast it on a
Yeah. Treat the angels is triple white X
XX.
XXXX. So yeah, you could air elemental it up. So here we are. We're just gonna hardcast Force Will on the Tradewind Rider.
Yeah, that
It's
seems like something you
reasonable.
need to do because he's got the Wall of Blossoms in play. You start bouncing the
Yeah,
wall. That's one way he can build up an
get back.
advantage. It's still kind of at parity, but I think the edge here still favors the blue
Oh
white
yeah,
deck.
yeah. When we're going to the long game, none of the lock pieces are in
Yeah.
play. That
Yeah.
definitely does favor.
If the blue white deck
blue-white
had Parallax Tide in his deck, I would be less likely to say he's favored because he could cast it here and it's just not really going to do much. It's going to buy 5 turns for both players, but I think this game's easily going 5 turns both players. Yeah, there's a question in chat. Who are you rooting for? Everybody, who do you think should win this one? Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for the survival deck, the good guys, or are you rooting for the evil blue-white control?
Whoa.
I don't know who I'm rooting for, actually. I think
I mean,
as a player in this league going forward, which one would I rather play against? I don't know. Both of them are kind of scary. They got the opposition
I can't
lock.
say I can't say that anyone here is evil because both of these players have clearly put cards in their deck that they enjoy.
Yes.
Like
That
we're
is
not
true.
seeing
They
like
aren't
ice
just playing
cold
only good cards.
ruthlessness. Yeah,
Yes.
there are a lot of fun ofs in these decks. That being said, it's clear to me that blue white is more fun because blue white is always more fun than everything. So except Grixis, maybe Grixis is pretty awesome too. Grixis is just the best.
All right. Looks
All
like
right,
just a coastal tower and go.
Yeah, but in classic blue-white fashion, we're starting to pull ahead in the game, and then we have nothing to do because that's just not how blue-white works.
You just want anything instead. You're drawing stuff that's probably helpful, or maybe it's not helpful. Every
Something
counter
that
spell you
might-
draw is an additional turn or
Mhm.
two.
Yeah, there's only 2 cards in hand for each player. Yeah, you're probably just drawing like conditional reactive cards because, we're tapping mana. Never mind. We're just gonna play humility. All right,
I
humility.
think that's fair.
That's
it's a little aggressive if we don't have a factory because now we're starting taking 2 a turn.
Yeah, we can actually just like we've been mocking like 1/1 beats like very reliably during commentary and had been
I'm just
shown
rooting
wrong
for Birds of Paradise to attack.
Yeah.
So I would say what probably this means is that he probably does have Decree of Justice in his hand here.
Yeah.
He plays Humility now, untaps, and then he can cycle Decree for 3 or 4, and that should be plenty to take over the game.
That is a big problem.
Or you can make an angel, but I think once you have humility in play, you want to make one once.
We've moved off of the air elemental plan when we cast our humility. Or did we just like slam humility just because it was cool?
It is very cool.
Yeah, we'll find out in the attack step. He's got the goods, but does he have the guts? Okay, we're just gonna cast impulse. So that does not signal Decree of Justice.
Well, let's give us like an out here if we find Mistress Factory.
Factory.
Factory. I don't know what else.
Factor
Fiction is pretty good, but If that was the case, I would have just rather do that instead of playing Humility last turn.
Yeah, I would.
Ooh,
Okay.
the Watchtower.
All along the
Forbidding
Watchtower.
So this
Are
is
you
the
hearing
case
that
for
Bob
Forbidding
Dylan
Watchtower
song? Let's go.
is better than Fairy Conclave.
Yeah,
Because Fairy
Fairy
Conclave here
Conclave would
trades.
not stop the beatdown,
But
but
Forbidding
Forbidding
Watchtower
Watchtower just like flexes all over these 1/1 creatures.
It has all of the butt. It will block all
just
day.
like big butts. It does not lie. Okay, well, time
not
to get in
expect to
for
see
our
this
2
card.
damage. Yeah, we would
do this much. I thought
yeah.
I would see it, but I didn't expect to see it.
Okay, we're gonna cast Trade Wind Rider. By Trade Wind Rider, we mean 1/1 creatures.
4 mana 1/1.
Got it.
What's a 4 mana 1/1 you can think of?
Yeah. 4 mana 1/1. Oh, Toski. Isn't Toski a 4 mana 1/1? Oh, Fact or Fiction. Okay, yeah. Here's where we just like put the pedal to the metal.
Hell's Caretaker. Hell's Caretaker is 4 mana 1/1. Ooh,
Okay.
there's a humility. Oh, that is all spells.
All spells. Amusingly, the Replenish I don't think gets back anything.
Yeah, it still feels like the classic in the turn Fact or Fiction you lose here.
The best card in this pile is the Impulse. But yeah, we're just in trouble. Like, if we giving our opponent a bunch of counters.
If he draws a creature every turn for the rest of the game, and we don't draw anything except our Watchtower, we might lose.
This humility did backfire. Yeah, the Impulse is definitely the best card here. Also, putting the Replenish and the humility together is good because if you ever find a disenchant, then you know that the humility.
I agree under normal situations, but because he has to take the Impulse, you really need to split the other 2 blue cards.
Yeah,
and you don't want him to be able to take Impulse plus Force of Will plus blue card. So I like the way I like his split there. Because I think the Replenish and the humility, you're out to win is not involved killing those cards. So if he takes
just hoping
one of the others,
some,
they're dead.
Some dorks.
So I think you want to draw any creature for the rest of the game, preferably, Birds of Paradise, something that's cheap and doesn't deal damage to you,
creatures,
and hope that he doesn't find a second man land or a Decree of Justice
or Wrath or anything basically.
There's a lot of bad ways that go bad, so I expect to see a Impulse here, main phase. Looking for Wrath of God or Mishra's Factory or Decree of Justice.
This is a little rough. What are we doing? Uh-oh.
Looks like that's Wrath of God.
Yeah, that's not Parallax Tide. Yeah, okay. Well, it's better than blowing up all lands, killing all creatures. Fine.
Is that a beta Wrath of God? It's really nice.
Yeah. That's
Collector's Edition.
Showed us. And the Forbidding Watchtower will not attack.
We didn't have enough white mana to be able to cast Wrath and attack with it, but we do have the follow-up.
We'll play a 5 mana 1/1 creature.
5 mana 1/1.
At least it doesn't have Echo.
5 mana 1/1.
5 mana. Ooh. Well, I mean, we have Deranged Hermit, but other than
that's true. It is a 5 mana 1/1.
5 mana 1/1. I'm trying to think if there's something that's like a 5 mana 1/1 that shows which are like +1/+1 counters, like a Neshoba, but those.
Oh.
I think the Sabertooth was 6, Phantom is 7.
I don't think that's a Portal Wrath of God. That looked like the beta art to me. I could be wrong.
5 mana 1/1.
Here's the Impulse. 5 mana 1/1.
Tough.
Is Creepy Doll a 5 mana 1/1?
Was Creepy Doll or Stuffy Doll?
Stuffy Doll was a 0/1, I thought.
Yeah, Stuffy Doll was a 0/1. Okay.
Got a good Creepy Doll story.
All right.
He's playing last round of the PTQ, Innistrad Sealed. Game 3, my opponent has a giant werewolf, and he's got a Kessig Wolfrun in play. And I'm gonna die, but I have a Creepy Doll, and I have an equipment on it that gives it first strike. So I just have to win this coin flip when it damages the werewolf, and I'll top 8 the PTQ. And if I lose the coin flip, I don't top 8 the PTQ. So,
well, okay. Forbidding Watchtower is in the red zone. I will have everyone know this.
All on the Watchtower. So, my opponent decides he's got to go for it, and I block with the Creepy Doll. I first strike. I flip the coin, and as you know, I run pretty well, so I won the flip and I made the top 8. And, there's a Mishra's Factory. That's
all right. The Mishra's Factory. That's real. That
is very real.
Now, that is a card that we care about. like that's okay, but Creatures Factory is going to put the game away. Yeah, Kisses drawing pretty
it's like
slim.
a 3-turn or 4-turn clock now. Deranged Hermit can't attack. No counterplay at all, really. Humility is
we're in a
just
spot
too
of
strong.
bother.
Didn't draw any of our answers to humility.
Wow, look at us
Another
making
factory.
Oh no, another factory. Woof.
Ooh, okay,
look at us making the mistake of putting creatures in our deck. I'm like, why did we do that?
The best creatures
humility.
are still your lands.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna pump for the extra damage.
Yes.
All right.
Just put Matt.
3-turn
Matt's
clock
not
instead
here to
of
play
4-turn
with
clock.
his food. He's like, this is Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
He still has the counterspell in his hand too, right? So
yeah. Wow.
we're
this is the hard lock.
The green deck is drawing real dead here.
Needed funny. Yeah, cards like Veil of Summer, they don't exist in this format, so blue mages just like get to run away with it sometimes. Yeah, he's all right, same deal, just coming at you, because now we can leave up the counter spell. Feels bad, man. Now that you've got 2 City of Brasses, and Maya Coast, tapping them is very perilous.
Not a good day for the creature deck, indeed.
Oh no!
Well, that was a good match.
That was a good match. Everyone got their money's worth on that.
We got to see opposition. We got to see Winter Orb. We did not get to see any Angels. We did not get to see any Parallax Tide.
No, the lack of Parallax Tide was quite disappointing. Like after getting locked out by the opposition, I really wanted like a taste of the own medicine, but instead of that, we used another annoying, obnoxious 4-mana enchantment and humility and locked people out that way. So,
we just locked his deck. We just erased his deck. We took the white out and put it over every card in his deck.
Yeah.
No Xanath's form. We did get to see Birds of Paradise attack though.
Yes,
several times. Those birds did a lot of damage.
Yeah, there's some very aggressive like Alfred Hitchcock birds going on here. Thanks for the entertainment here, fellas. This is a really good match.
All right, well, I think that's gonna do it for the night. Come back next week. We'll have more matches from the league. We'll see all the people that are 2-0 probably next week. We'll be covering round 3 of 6. They'll have it every Thursday night, same time, 7 Central. This is the channel to be. You got anything else to add, Woodrow?
No, I will just say that good luck to all our competitors. Have a good time, and I hope everyone's playing decks as sweet as the decks we saw tonight, because we saw some real wild cards.
Yeah. Maybe I'll be on the stream next time playing my sweet deck. I'll keep it a secret though. You'll have to tune in next week to find out.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
All right.